Okay, let's get this over with.
No more
Dreamer
Mexicans.
Man.
Dreamer Man.
Stream me, Dad.
It's me starting on time.
Not an OnlyFans.
Well, you can't move the time later because then people would just show up an hour after
That's
that.
exactly it. Yeah, exactly.
Is Harlot Slayer like secretly based?
Well, of course.
We're gonna
he
find out
refers
he's like
to
a
everything
20th
he
level
doesn't like is
fighter.
a harlot, so.
Cast True Strike on him so that he can hit Harlots
Why would
hard.
you do that? Also,
That
was
sounds from Dota.
Is it? That's pretty cool.
Oh my god, he's marked with blue.
You're from Dota.
I
He's
can make
Mark?
him blue. I can make you all blue.
Todd?
You're blue.
What are you doing?
All right, hear me out. What if I'm a warlock named Mark, but my patron is Todd, who is actually me?
Gambler's dog.
I can't believe I
They
have to
haven't
mute
made the
Shambler
other
in
three
game
people
too.
blue.
I want there to be someone to make a warlock character. And maybe that has to be me. Someone to make a warlock character who's like obsessed with just bullying his patron to give up being a patron so he can become the patron.
I don't know if you'd get very far.
You have to have power to give it.
Yeah, I'd get it from him, and then I'd convince him to not be a patron anymore.
Like, what happens to a level 20 warlock when their patron, stops patronizing them?
I
Just
imagine
become
it's like
dude?
Sith rules of succession most of the time,
That's what I mean.
A
You
rule
you kill your patron and become the patron.
Exactly.
You think it's rule of 2? Then you find out you have to duel his other level 20. Whatever the opposite of patron is.
Then you find out that he also had a patron. He was just doing the same pyramid scheme as you.
I like that.
It's all just gods all the way up.
I like that, yeah.
Everyone's
Then he turns
a
into a
warlock deep
turtle.
down.
All right.
Your demon patron is an imp whose patron
at the
is
top of it all,
sort
it's
of
just
fucking
Ahmed.
15.
Dude, I can't wait to see Narath and Darex find out that their Starfather's actually Ahmed.
I don't have a Starfather.
What do you mean?
No one knows what a Starfather is except me.
And
Do
the
you know what
Inquisitors.
Darex
I worship the Drakes, but I think I'm going to hell, so...
Yeah, you definitely are. No doubt about that.
All right.
You don't know what I've done. You don't know why I think that.
Yeah.
After this, we're all going to hell, dude.
I can't wait to
Astorium.
find out why, though. It's gonna be such a fucking...
Astorium doesn't go to hell.
Astorium lives forever.
Astorium has no
You,
soul.
you think you know, but you don't.
Thank God we're walking.
Wait. Let's go back here. So, at the end of the last session, which had a confrontation with the Inquisitor Maressa, and who seems to serve His Majesty the King, you all ended up going to a stable next to the Bounty Lass, and while most of the party waited, Silas and Blink went into the Bounty Lass, with Blink securing some more supplies needed for perhaps repairing Ashtorium later and other such things, as well as clothing and cloaks for the rest of his party. Silas got into a drinking game with a dwarf, and that sailor has now pledged to bring the rest of the crew, Silas and his compatriots, up to a dwarven tavern where you are supposed to meet with some of those elven-hating dwarfs. Of course, the sailor has passed out just about on the way back into the stable. And you also had, I believe the idea was that the Harlot Slayer should be knocked unconscious, but you guys didn't act on that yet. That was just something Narath said to Ashtorium, who didn't act on that just yet. So, with all that established and reminded, what are you guys doing before you set off from the stable? What's going on?
I'm bribing the stable boy to be quiet about us. And to like us.
What if we rent a stable for the Harlot Slayer and then leave a note on his body saying that we had business and we'll come back for it?
I don't think leaving an elf in a room where we just got done bad mouthing all the elves is a smart.
No,
idea.
in the stable, not the tavern. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna
You
sleep
wanna
with
do
the
that.
horses.
Yeah, where it belongs.
Yeah, I think the only issue is the drow lady is gonna find him.
Oh, that's fair. I guess we should bring him with us then.
Yeah, we just bring him with
Just
us.
keep him knocked out. We'll say that we're playing a prank on a loser elf to the
You,
dwarf.
you know the sleep spell, right? You're fine.
He did use his spell slot on that already. I don't know.
We'll beat him up.
Last time he volunteered for some dwarven training, but he passed out on the way because he's not done training yet.
I'll cast the sleep spell.
Yeah, Asturian punches hard. All right, so
But yeah, I'm bribing the stable boy. Be
okay.
happy. We can, for the sake of time, we can sort of move on past that and just take the gold out.
If you want to spend 1 gold on him, sure. He's gonna look at you with big wide eyes and say, "Oh, thank you, Mister. Of course, I see nothing.
As I hand it to him, I'll say, "What did you see today, my friend?"
Not a thing. Not a thing. Just a fine day where a strange inquisitor put her nose where it didn't belong. You follow my drift?
Exactly. And then I give him the gold.
Hell yeah. All right. So, stable boy bribed. We got the idea is now that you're bringing drunk dwarf who's passed out and harlot slayer who's passed out and the egg as well. How are you guys going to transport that? Keep it in the sort of like wheelbarrow thing?
Can we, well, I guess as we're planning this, Silas will speak up and he'll say, what if we were to buy a bit of hay and put it in the barrel so that if anyone were to question the contents, we could say we're transporting something?
We already put the hay in there at the start of the last session.
Oh, did we?
Yeah,
we
but the
took
hay.
all the hay from the crate and put it in the barrel. Road did
If
it.
I,
Well,
yeah,
never mind then.
if I recall, there's hay at the bottom, the egg is on top of the hay, and then there's like a carpet on top of the egg.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys
I got
ripped up a
carpet.
carpet from the in the inside of the Awara Manor and used that as cover, which, you know, definitely aroused some eyes considering it's a pretty distinctive piece. You know, it's not exactly your average carpet.
Merchants.
Yeah.
But there should be more hay in the stable, so if we want to cover the egg with hay, that's something we can just do.
It would draw less attention than the carpet potentially, so maybe that's what Silas is suggesting when he says that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll gather
Okay.
some hay then.
Yeah.
We'll put some hay in it. We'll cover in hay. It'll be hayed up.
All right, hay it up. What are you doing with the carpet? You keeping it there too? You covering the carpet in hay? How's this working?
We'll give
I-
the carpet to the stable boy and tell him to
And what if we,
burn it.
put the carpet around the Harlot Slayer like a cape?
Yes,
Ah.
that's what we'll do. We put it around.
Roll
the
them up
carpet,
in a
so-
carpet like in those movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
for ease of carrying, so he's not so dangly.
I'd like to say I brought him a cloak, but he is not awake yet, so I wouldn't give it to him.
We
Okay.
put a cloak on him. We cover him in carpet.
No, I have the cloak.
Okay, we put him.
He,
in
need, he
carpet.
needs to see Javai hand it to him, you know.
Yeah,
It's
his
carpet.
most prized possession, which he will never wash.
So he'll pass out again.
This cloak came from my bedchamber.
Well, it came from my armoire, which is in my bedchamber, but details. So, what are you guys doing with the sailor?
Oh yeah, he's knocked out
Carrying
too. Yeah,
What
he's
do you
supposed to be
do with a
our
drunken
key to get
sailor?
into
What do
the
you do with a drunken sailor?
other tavern, right?
On the way out, I want to buy a bottle of whatever ale so that whenever he wakes up, he has a fresh bottle of ale in his hand.
Oh, perfect. All right. That's going to run
That
you a
makes sense.
piece of silver for the whole bottle.
Done.
All right. So you end up patronizing the bar one more time, and all right. So you pop off with that. Now, with regards to transporting the harlot slayer who's in a carpet and the sailor who's just drunk, they are both passed out, so they're pretty easy to just move around, although they're heavy. Are you guys like splaying them along one of the horses, like the rear or something? Like how exactly are we storing carrying this?
Scarlet Man can be on my horse.
Okay.
Ro doesn't have a horse.
I think no. Ashtorium has his own horse. I have mine, but unless I'm assuming somebody else would want that.
Narath
Blink's
and
fine with walking.
Silas have one horse between the two of them because they rode together to get to this point. So right now you
So-
guys have 3 horses with Blink and Ashtorium having one each.
So yeah, I'd say Narath has Harlot's Lair on his horse, and if that's the case, Blink would offer his horse to Silas to take the sailor, and then Blink would ride with Ashtorium.
Right. So that would leave me and Darix. I don't think either of us have horses,
Correct.
but we could probably push the wheelbarrow, right?
Yeah, because you guys have the barrow, so
Right.
So you guys will just have to make a little bit slower pace than if you were trying to gallop at full, which makes sense.
In the city anyway, right?
Yeah, it makes sense to do it in the city. It also makes sense when you have unconscious people that you're transporting. So,
Right.
all right. So it looks like we've got travel squared away. Any particular formation you want to strike?
Probably the wheelbarrow is going to be behind the horses, I would guess.
no, I think the Ashtorium horse, the Ashtorium Blink horse, would be behind the barrel and like keeping a protector from behind and from the front.
Okay,
And
so,
then Silas and Narath could be in the front.
Yeah, leading
so
the
it's something
pack.
like this because they're on two horses, right? And then you got you two, and then Sailor would be here, and Harlot would be here, and then something
I
like
think,
this.
but before we got on the horse, I would ask Ashtorium if he wants to steer the horse.
Astorium would rather walk
Oh,
and allow
Oh.
you to have your own horse.
I appreciate that.
hell yeah! All right, so
I am not worthy.
okay, so this looks like our formation. You know, all
Yep.
right, very cool.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you're moving through the rather bustling sort of townscape, and you are, your motley crew is certainly collecting some eyes. It's the sun is starting to set by now, right? Like early evening kind of thing. And with the sort of downcast skies, it brings with it some lighting of lanterns and sort of like street watch pyres and stuff like that. There's more guards people patrolling than there were just, your first morning here. And that could potentially be due to the fact that it's nightfall, but it might also seem a little bit more so than even the nightfall patrols usually are. To those of you who have paid attention to that sort of thing, I'm thinking Narath has been here long enough to see that. Obviously, Blink would know that as well. So, seemingly an increased influx of guards are staffing the streets and the corners. Coming with
None
that,
of
though,
them.
go ahead.
They're just standard guards, though. None of them are like the King's Guard or anything.
Yeah, it doesn't
walking
look like
around.
any of them were the Royal Guard or the Inquisitor Guard or anything like that. They are just, rank and file. Some of them bearing sigils from like their sigils on their armor and their shields are all based on like districts that they cover, and some of them have been taken from other districts, which you can simply tell by looking at the fact that there's different regalia on each one of them. But that's sort of where they originate from, but that also kind of tells you that maybe something non-standard is going on.
Yeah, my guess would be that's probably a response to some of those things escaped from the manor and caused some commotion, I'm guessing.
Arath will keep his hood drawn up, minimize himself, and go back to being Hunchman.
Dude, this
Probably
is probably the
doesn't
first
also-
time that Ro has wore a cloak.
Yeah. Ro normally runs around and hides and armor.
Yeah. He's like, how does this even fit me? This is strange.
Yeah, he's like, why would I want to hide myself? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
I'm a dog.
As we're traveling around, Silas will be keeping an eye out for anyone who's paying too much attention to us.
There's definitely a few commoners and other folk that have been kind of like, maybe giving you the hairy eyeball, right? Like giving you a little bit more of a prolonged stare. You can roll perception and also insight, and I'll tell you more based on those rolls.
After this, I'd say that Blink is doing the same for people behind them.
Okay. If you want
Like
to...
see if
yeah.
anyone's following.
We can have you do the same thing after this. Ooh, very nice perception roll, my friend. And wow, nat 20 insight, dude. What a watchman. He watches the watchman, and he is the watchman. All right.
Dude,
It's
somebody
the
gives
Eye
me
of
the hairy
Savras. Yeah,
eye, and I
that's
look into their fucking soul.
the Eye of Savras is awakening in your pineal gland as you look over the sort of populace of the Dalamask district. So the first thing that you're going to notice is that a lot of the populace are more on edge, maybe a bit more skittish than they have been in your stay in this town and in this like overall city state. They're a little bit more on edge. Things are maybe a bit more complicated now. The arrival of the Inquisitor and other such things might be like complicating people's lives or making things feel a little bit more unsafe. Generally, people are seemingly more suspicious, and that suspicion is being directed at what they perceive to be outsiders, and your group definitely seems to fit the bill. You are traveling into a more dwarven sector of the city, so to speak. So there's more half-smiths, which are kind of like half human, half dwarf. There's definitely more dwarves the further north you go. But even the humans are also quite, skittish. But they're doing so almost equally, right? It's like they're regarding everybody who isn't themselves and people that they know with some element of suspicion. And your party seems to be attracting more of that. There are shuffles in the guards, anxious sort of shuffling of the feet as the guards kind of look you all over, and you can see that maybe there's some discussion that breaks up between some of the groups of guards where they're sort of like gesturing in your direction, in your party's direction. Definitely makes it seem like maybe they're thinking about whether they have reason to stop you and ask you for some questioning, but nobody has approached you or the party yet. It definitely seems like not just the populace, the commoners are on edge. You're also seeing what seems to be a bunch of packed up merchants and marketmen for the day, moving away from the sort of central square to the northwest and kind of milling about. So there's seemingly maybe the end of business day, and perhaps there's some more misgivings there. Maybe some people didn't make enough money. Maybe they didn't have enough money for what they wanted. So there seems to be a healthy amount of sort of like misgivings that people are having right now. And it could be that it's like generically in your direction as so far as what you can incite.
Okay. Gathering this information, Silas will look back to. I guess he'll message Narath since he's right next to him, and he'll say, "There are a lot of eyes on us. The people here seem skittish. They don't trust us."
Narath will message back with his mind. We are foreigners, and they have likely been harassed by their overlords due to something or another that they are not aware of. It is only natural that they blame us. It is probably best we keep moving swiftly.
He'll nod and continue on.
All right. And I know that Blink also wanted to be taking a look. If you want to do perception and insight as well. Not as good.
Oh,
Not as
Back to back is impressive though.
Yes, it is. You're seeing some of the same kind of skittish behavior as Silas, but you're not immediately aware of anyone that seems to be particularly threatening. There's definitely an extra amount of like sneers and like daggered eyes looking towards you. Are you in your Nick costume right now? What are you?
Yeah, I'm Nick.
Okay, in that case, I was gonna say if you were the elf, they'd be like, "What the hell?" So you're all set then. Nobody seems to be paying too much heed to you. They're maybe ogling Ashtorium a bit. That's the most that you can tell right now.
Yeah, I
Fair enough.
assume Ashtorium, Ro, Darks, and Narath are probably getting most of the the attention.
Actually, I'd like to change how Astorium's interacting with this. He would probably be wanting to stay far back from the group to just kind of keep an eye on everything and see if people are following them.
Okay. You're gonna. So you're basically saying like
And he's
remaining
gonna,
a
like-
few paces back.
Yeah, he's gonna be not paces, but like at the as far back as possible.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. So you're
Yeah,
you're shadowing the group from a further
Yeah.
distance. Okay. Got
Yeah.
it.
Specifically to try and find people that are also doing the same thing.
Okay. You want to give me a perception check of your own then, Ashtorian? Since you're doing the sentry's watch.
Holy
Dirty
shit.
20.
We're getting the good ones.
Well, while you aren't able to determine their motivations, Ashtorium, during your time traveling further back from the rest of the group, keeping a relatively stable distance between you and your party, you do espy at least like a small troop, maybe 3 or 4 strong of similar knights to the knights that match the description and the visual flavor of the Inquisitor's Guard.
Transmission.
Dude, there's a Brotherhood of Nod thing playing in the background for some reason.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They haven't immediately taken notice of you specifically, it would seem, so far as you can tell, but they are a little bit further up, like kind of in between you and the rest of the party.
Okay. I'll
You'll try to
Just
blend
keep
in
an
with the
eye-
crowd.
yeah, and cloak up.
Okay.
Not
Then I guess if Astor, not that obviously Blink trusts Astorium's ideas, but he would be keeping extra care to keep looking back and trying to locate Ash.
Okay. Yeah. Well, with your perception check, Ashtorium will have disappeared from immediate view.
He's
Since
doing
too
good a
he's
job
gone for
hiding.
stealth. Yeah.
You wouldn't be worried because I think this would be standard operating procedure.
Yeah, he's not worried, but he's just trying to keep an eye on you. You know?
Maybe it's one of those things that since the stealth check kicked in, right, after you spotted the guards, unless you're trying are you trying to like be stealthy the whole time?
Yeah, just a general not draw attention.
Right, but
Kind of
this is even
be
before
in the
you
background.
found the guards, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, before the guards.
All right, so yeah, in that case, Blink, you wouldn't really immediately have any knowledge because I thought for a second he stealthed up after seeing them, but if he stealthed up before, which makes more sense, then yeah, it looks like it's looking like the way that this is going, you're not immediately going to be aware of where he's at.
Astorium cast Pass Without a Punch.
We're being followed.
You don't know
We're
that though.
being followed.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
Not yet.
Get a rest. We're on half health, and we're gonna have to kill some knights, and then we're gonna be wanted by the
Oh
king.
my god.
Yeah, they're
Bro,
babies.
cannot
Tried to
have.
kill the king's enemy.
Ro doesn't
Ro is
have
going
enough
to
durability
die.
left. To...
I have 5 HP.
I'm
If
not-
literally anything hits me,
Yep.
it's
Yeah,
over.
no, I don't think anyone here is in fighting condition, so
No.
I guess I'll have to intimidate check them.
Yeah, some of you guys have good healths.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of them. Like what?
I
Blink?
have a plan for diplomacy.
We'll just stick the egg on them.
Get them.
Be like, hey, look in this box, and they'll open the lid and they'll just meat grind them.
Is Derek's doing anything?
What is
That is
Derek's
a good question.
doing? Incoming
He's drunk.
transmission.
No, Derek's isn't drunk. It's Silas that's drunk.
Yeah, Darks is probably, I assume, paying special attention to the egg.
Amred Alexander.
Darix is sleeping.
I think Darix might
Yeah.
be sleeping.
It's okay. He's sleepwalking the egg to its destination.
Nah, he's.
I guess he won't get that.
You're gonna need
confession
to
today.
quick do your guidance on him. That'll wake him up.
Alexander,
No,
wake up.
You got to do the thing.
I saw life. I saw life of his mic. 2
Ugh,
seconds.
Oh, he yawned.
You awake?
Oh shit,
What?
Darks is awake.
what happened?
Bro was asking what you're doing.
Protecting the egg.
There you go. That's what I said.
We were right.
Being followed by
That's
knights.
fucking good, dude.
What else am I supposed to do?
I told you,
Being
he's
followed
just
by
walking the
knights.
egg to its destination and going to cut anyone who touches it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I would do. Kill anybody that touches my egg.
Okay. So,
Jesus.
basically, that's all right, Darks. You didn't miss too much.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
You know, we're just being tailed.
Yeah.
Kill him.
They were
He's
just
into the
commenting
egg.
that maybe their durability is in question.
Well, mine's not. I don't think so. Screw you. I'll be okay. I'll protect the egg.
Everybody has at best half health. Ro has 5, so I don't know about
I have 5 HP.
Oh, never mind. Don't kill him.
that.
Okay.
Does Darax have healing? Like,
I think I have some lay on hands.
Yeah,
how much is
you
it?
have 5 lay on hand. You can deal 5 HP.
What the fuck is that?
What?
Do you have 5 hands?
Why was
Yeah, he
that
has
so
5 hands.
loud?
What?
You
he's
not
just trying
hear
to
that
wake you up.
noise? It was terrible.
What was it?
It was a horrific noise. It was very loud.
Oh, is it in the soundboard? Because I have Shambler's soundboard muted.
Oh, that was yeah.
Ah.
What did you mean?
Have Shambler soundboard muted too.
All
right, stop it.
Stop
Stop it,
gassing True Strike, or Ro will kill you.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
And that is a
Shambler.
threat.
If I delete his token, he can't cast spells anymore. It's
You
perfect.
see a lich appear in the sky and just yoink me.
It's me. All right, so
Lich man.
Farron is prone to go.
yeah.
I
So
don't think you want to be that guy. He's got problems.
Yeah, he's an evil lich.
that's right. So you guys have made it into the dwarven area of town by now. The tail is still going on. Ashtorium, are you doing anything? Are you
I'm
just
tailing the
you're
tail.
tailing the tail? Okay. We'll see if anybody tails the tail's tail.
Yo.
You watch the Watchers.
There ends up like 5 groups that are all tailing each other.
Yeah, private investigators investigating each other. All right. So we've got as you guys are entering in, passing by certain areas, certain dwarven architecture, and like a little bit nicer. Like there's like a cathedral off to the side. You got, you're passing by all these different houses and stables. There's one stable, and it is right next to a tavern that does seem to be somewhat lively. This is sort of in the north, according to the instructions that were given by the drunk dwarf, but he's still a bit unconscious right now on Silas's horse.
Wait, I'm sorry. Just very quickly. So my passive perception, it says it's 13. So would I spot Astorian since he rolled a 13? Or does he beat my 13?
You rolled an 8, and your passive perception is really only for things that are like super close by. If you're actively trying to perceive
I
something,
see.
right? It's something that you
Yes.
have to roll for, yeah.
I see. All right.
Well, let's head to the tavern.
Yes, sir.
You guys gonna just knock on the door without the dwarf? What do you think?
No, we're coming with the dwarf.
Yeah, we would
Yeah,
like
he's-
kind of
he's
slap the dwarf
unconscious.
awake, you know?
Ah.
Wrath will take some cold water, pour it on his face, wake him up.
Hold on. But I guess you do that, and then Silas will pipe up to him as if he starts waking up, and he'll say, "Hey, your ale's getting warm."
There's a sputtering and a as the dwarf rouses from his slumber and reflexively reaches for his blade, but instead finds ale, and then says, "Oh," and starts guzzling.
This man would have fit right in on the silver lace.
So the dwarf then sort of picks himself up from where he's at and nearly stumbles off the back of the horse and says, "Oh, I'm scared of heights."
It's not that high up.
Yeah, so as we're like offloading the horses and the dwarfs, I'd say like as Blink gets off the horse, he would make another conscious effort to try and locate how far behind Ash is from the group.
Okay. It's probably been about like 10, 15 minutes since your last check by now, so go for the roll if you like. Damn.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
even worse, a nat 1.
Your
Dwarf
vision
and
goes
Blink
dark
touch
for some
flames a lot.
reason. No, you still can't seem to find him. Ashtorium really is sort of slinking into the crowd and blending in. You feel a sense of pride, actually, in how well he's doing it.
It's true.
He's a good boy.
The dwarf then will. The dwarf will motion to Silas as if wordlessly requesting help to dismount the horse.
I will help him down.
As you do so, he says, "Right, I see you've already made it. This here is Kearney's haunt." And he gestures to the tavern that, again, seems to be somewhat lively on the inside.
Do we need to know anything before we head inside?
Just that you won't be able to beat the other dwarves in a drink-off.
We'll see about that. And then Silas will lean in and he'll say, "Just so you know, I think we're being... Oh, did anybody say that we were being followed?"
No,
Oh.
none of the party
one
knows
knows.
except for Astorium.
And he's all the
Okay,
way
never
back
mind.
there, yeah. So
Never mind. Silas doesn't know.
yeah, Silas doesn't know.
I think that there's a cock watching us in the corner. Be careful.
The dwarf like sort of rubs his beard and like makes a shallow effort at attempting to look a bit more presentable despite his haggard and still half drunk state. And he'll say, "Oh, maybe tonight's the night Aramea smiles at me." And then he steps forward into the bustling tavern. And at that is a good time to bring you guys into the map. Let's see. Oh, I almost activated Awara Manor. That would have been very funny.
Oh no.
You guys would have been loading forever. All right.
I would have gone blind.
We go into the Dwarven bar. It's actually just another manor.
Every interior is just a manor.
Oh yeah, and Astorium isn't here yet, so.
Arath follows behind the dwarf. Owl up, hunched over.
Where did we leave Harlot Slayer?
He's on the horse.
Oh, trying to go in and hear me?
What did you say?
Okay.
No, I just follow, and I'm hunched over.
Oh,
with my
okay.
cowl.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, where are you leaving Harlot Slayer? That's a good idea.
On the horse.
I'd say we would have left him. No, we would have taken him off the horse, and he'll be like sitting in the stable that we left them in. Like the stable that we left that specific horse in, like propped up against the wall or something in some hay, looking like he's just taking a rest or a nap or something.
He does seem to be pretty close to stirring. He's not quite waking up, but he's kind of like twitching in his sleep and all that.
He's
Oh,
sleep man.
shit, he's not here. We can't give him another bunk.
He's gonna get
Bro can knock him out.
awake man. Actually, are we going to the stables, me and Darks?
I thought last time we discussed it, like we can't go into the.
All right, you two aren't
Yeah,
welcome.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Did you guys start a fight in here?
No, not specifically with in this tavern, but from what we were told, I thought the people who own the tavern were actually the Brewbeards, and we kind of broke into their warehouses and beat some people up.
Yeah.
Well, in an actual case,
They-
if this
they-
tavern is owned by the Brewbeards.
The Gray Brews, but yeah.
Or the Grey Broods, yeah.
It's close
Actually,
enough. You guys got the essence.
They own this tavern.
That's what it was said by. I don't think Silas mentioned it to you guys, the ownership.
Oh.
Or maybe he
He
did.
didn't know,
Maybe
but he
he
made
did
a
mention
Oh
it.
no, I think I asked him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
While we
because
were
you
walking
brought
there.
it up because you were Ro brought it up because he was like, well, I don't know if I'd be welcome.
Yeah, because I was like, last time I saw some dwarves and halfsmiths, it didn't go so
yeah.
well.
So so does that mean that you and Ro and Darix are planning on sticking it out inside the?
The stables, yeah, I think so.
Okay. In that case, if Darix has no complaints, you guys will just watch over the egg there.
Yep, that's fine with me. He gonna take a nap. Derek's gonna take a nice nap.
All right, perfect.
There you go.
I thought the whole plan was for Derek's to commune with the.
He had. Yeah,
He needs to do that in nature, though. He can't do that inside a
I
tavern or whatever.
Stars.
Like an open field and an open sky. It was like
So we'd have to go to Gengora's Gorge, I would guess, would be the closest place.
How far is the walk from the stable to the tavern?
they're right next to each other, so like a minute max.
Is there like an alley I can dip behind? Like, is there like an unseen area that I can like shape change?
There's
very quickly?
room for you to pull that off if you're looking to do so.
All right. So yeah, while walking, Blink will shape change into a very flamboyant-looking man.
Man.
It's such a gross sound.
Yeah,
man.
just a different human. He's not Nate anymore.
Well, I mean, he is gross.
He's not Nick
True.
anymore. He's a different human.
Glowing now.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you say flamboyant, you're talking about like not elven but elfin, like thin features and like what exactly do you mean? You mean like
No, flamboyant. Like he looks kind of like he's got some character, you know. Like he's a little bit of a
Like a drag queen?
no, like dramatic. You know what I mean?
oh the more classical definition of flamboyant.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Like
Like,
the like a guy who would wear like a collar out instead of tucking it like a normal human.
Like
he
flared
looks
collar and
Yeah,
you're
he
talking
looks kind of
about,
like that guy.
colorful
You know?
loud outfit or something.
Yeah.
So before walking into a dwarven bar, you turn into the one guy that every dwarf would ridicule on sight.
Yes.
I think this must be intentional. Yes. All right. So
They think they couldn't possibly be the same people, right?
Yeah. So, in that case, but while you guys are entering into this establishment, Ashtorium, how are you navigating this sort of tale? Because so far, it seems the group that you're following is in lockstep motion, diving into the same streets and alleys, but keeping their distance so as to not be spotted. It doesn't look like your party is any the wiser. And once they stop at the stable, there's a sort of like immediate pullback from a group that's tailing them as they begin to kind of like maybe duck into an alley. So
I'll keep a watch on where they were last seen.
okay. Can you give me a perception check? So from your perspective, there's a group of 4 individuals that have coalesced around this objective of tailing the party. And in doing so, as they duck into an alley, where 4 men enter, only 1 leaves. He does seem to be attempting to be quiet about his movements, but the others are nowhere to be seen.
I'll stay and watch.
Okay.
And let the one guy just go.
Yeah, the one guy is moving back south where the group came from. He'll pass by you, but he's not looking for you. So he's not super close to you, but he's like maybe a 30 feet distance, walking down the street kind of thing. And he seems to be in quite the hurry, moving with purpose. So while Ashtorium is keeping watch, anything else you want to do besides that? Are you just keeping watch from a distance on the establishment that they're walking into, this tavern?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the alley and the entrance to the tavern.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so Narath has entered the establishment alongside the dwarf. Silas and Blink, Silas, you'll walk in and you'll be walking towards the tavern, and there will be a form you haven't seen Blink take before. Blink, I'm assuming you're going to identify yourself for Silas?
Well, if he doesn't notice that I'm wearing the same clothes, then yes.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know if you changed outfits as well.
It would be similar clothing.
Okay.
But yes, I'll as he approaches, I'll say, yes, it's still Blink.
Well, there you go.
So you've changed your appearance again, although I wonder if it would have been more fitting if you became a dwarf for this occasion.
I don't have clothes that fit me as a dwarf.
I guess that's fair.
Roll perception.
Why are you rolling perception?
Oh wait, no. We know he's a changeling now. Never mind.
Where have you been, brother?
That's like 2 sessions, right?
It was like 3 sessions ago.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so
This is not a polymorph.
as you all are making ready to enter this fine establishment, the dwarf sort of like throws open the door with some flair and confidence, and he surveys the field, and the tavern is quite large. There's an assortment of several bar stools at the bar top. It seems that there's plenty of sort of table covers and cloths and runners, and a single barkeep polishing mugs and washing them out in water basins. There's an oven and a mixing pot off to the side with fresh food or meats waiting to be cooked. There's a couple of tables that are already occupied off to the right-hand side of the establishment, and as you take your first couple steps inside the tavern, there's this general feeling of merriment, as if your spirits are already being lifted. A half-smith woman stands atop a table, currently absent any immediate, patrons that are sitting there deliberately, and she is performing a light lilt of a song. Just a small little thing that seems to be perking up anyone whose ears it reaches. And then at a large table, there's a man, sort of sifting through a bunch of wares along the table, waiting for someone to approach.
Arath will approach the man. Wait, there's a man who looks like he can do rooms, right?
Well, the barkeep would probably be the first one to ask about that.
Arath approaches the barkeep.
All right.
Takes a seat.
Okay, all right. The barkeep will be finishing off his mug as you all approach. Silas, what were you about to say?
Yeah, Silas walks in. I'll just try to do a quick sweep of eyeline sweep around the room just to see who's around.
Okay, so there's the performer on the table in the distance, singing her song. There's the the sort of tradesman that seems to be sort of like presenting stocks or options. and the two of them appear to be taller than the rest of the crew within this establishment, kind of marking them as half-smiths. Still shorter than yourself, but a bit closer to it. A half-smith and a dwarf sit at the table to the top and are engaged in some kind of heated discussion over food and drink. And another table has two dwarfs that seem to be much more quietly sipping ale while watching the aforementioned conversation with some interest. Then there's the 4 dwarves that sit at the bar, and the barkeep, who himself is also a dwarf.
You said there was a tradesman?
Yeah, like a trader, merchant type guy. He's sitting at the big table.
He's the one by himself?
Yep.
All right. Blink is going to walk that way.
Okay.
Arath would like to get the barkeep's attention.
Without responding to you specifically, the barkeep turns to the dwarf that had wandered in and immediately took a seat, looking for ale. Pouring in an empty mug the bottle of ale that had been provided to him by Silas. And as the barkeep takes note of him, he'll say, "Lordman, you've brought strangers again." The dwarf will sort of give a sheepish grin of acknowledgement and say, "Oi, but they're elf-hating strangers," which will get a slight chuckle from their other guests. Then the barkeep turns his attention to Narath. Hate elves, do you? Welcome.
I like how that's enough.
No questions asked. Is this the guy we brought with us, by the way, that I'm sitting next to?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool.
Oh, Shambler also got cut out, so I don't know if he's still here. Like he disconnected. He disconnected from the foundry, so he might be owned.
Oh.
He
He said he might have to leave.
Oh, well, he says now he's having Discord issues, so maybe not. Maybe he's fine.
All
right.
Apologies about that. I'm back.
There you go. Okay,
Everything's
perfect.
loading for me again.
Yeah, all good.
The guy just gave me a racism test.
No, he basically said, he said, oh, you hate elves, do you? But he's still looking at you, sizing you up. He's still pretty suspicious of the situation, but hearing a testimonial from a fellow dwarf patron seems to have cooled his nerves a tad, and he is waiting for you expectantly.
Almost as much as the Inquisition. Arath will say as he puts a silver coin on the table.
Do you mean by that almost as much as you hate the Inquisition, or almost as much as the Inquisition hates elves?
Almost as much as I hate the Inquisition.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. And you've put a silver piece down. Are you going to add context to that, or is your...
Narath will say, "How much for an ale?"
You're a bit faded there. You said how much for an ale, and then you cut off.
How much for an ale?
The barkeep will say, "That coin will cover you 2 mugs."
He'll put another coin down and say, "I hear dwarves like to drink. Let's make it 4."
Without any objection, he will nod and step around a barrel opposite the bar, collect your coins, and then begin procuring the 4 mugs. Meanwhile, next to Silas, the dwarf is horfing down like half the bottle at this point into his mugs and face.
I get my mugs.
Yeah, he'll provide them for sure. And I'm just, is Silas gonna respond or interact with the dwarf?
Silas will call out to the barkeep and he'll say, "How much is it for an ale here?"
All right.
Well, you just saw Narath give 2 silver pieces for it's for 4 mugs. So that'd be
5 copper
5
each.
copper each. Yep. But you can still ask that out loud if you want Silas to ask anyway. The barkeep will approach you after setting down the setting down the mugs and
Yeah, just to get their attention.
yeah. He'll step towards you and say, Well, it depends. You hate elves too?
Not only do I hate them, I've made it my business to bring them justice. So tell you what, if I were to make a toast to all those among us who hate elves, would you give me a discount on a round?
A discount? And he'll look to Ludman, the dwarf next to you. I hate elves as much as the next lad. But business has been good. I'll give you 1 for free. The rest, 5 copper apiece.
Then the free one is yours, my friend, and the rest for our patrons.
He'll raise an eyebrow, waiting to see what kind of coin you produce to cover such a request.
So 5 copper each. There's 11 people in the bar plus 1 for Silas. What am I looking at there? Is that like 6 silver?
Let's see. Yeah,
12 times
that
5
would be 6 silver. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll put down 7 silver, with the 1 being a tip.
Most generous. Well, here's to you, stranger. And he'll begin serving the ale as the rest of the bar is very pleased with this goodwill from a stranger. Sort of already, you can hear them all sort of talking amongst themselves, with the exception of the 2 that are sitting alone.
As the last ale goes down, Silas will turn to the bar and he'll raise his drink and he'll say, "Who do we hate?"
Without hesitation, Ludman and several of the other dwarves exclaim, "The elves!"
Good men. And then Silas will take a sip and have a smug grin as he turns back to the bar.
Narath partakes, although he doesn't. He's not too loud.
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of creepy.
So
he just raises up and drinks.
we're gonna change focus real quick to see what Blink is up to, because he looks to be approaching the Halfsmith trader. Before the bar and stuff and all that, while that's all going on behind you, Blink, what are you doing as you approach the man? Because he's looked up from his goods and is sort of like immediate eyebrow raised and kind of like stood up a bit from his seat kind of thing.
This is before any of the This is before any of the elves chant or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right. Like that's all starting to happen, which means Narath is just setting down coins, right?
Yeah. So as he approaches, he'll kind of like look over what he can see. Not really like keeping track of any of it, but just like to make it shown that his eyes are looking towards the wares. And then he will look back to the Halfsmith and say, "So, any of this for sale?"
Well, all of it, my good friend. And he says that a little uncertain. The singing from the Halfsmith behind him on the table is sort of reaching something of a pivot point where the Halfsmith seems to be like reaching like either the apex of the song or something. So it's almost a bit hard to hear him, but that dies down pretty soon after. And the Halfsmith trader says, "What are you looking for exactly?"
Well, I prefer the maybe a good couple weapons for the road. And I prefer the more up close and personal things. Daggers and rapiers as the such. And fear not, I've been known to spend some gold. And as he says the word gold, he'll probably he'll like kind of make it a thing to like almost like try to show the chain or the necklace around his neck that he was trying to pass off as a magical artifact.
Okay. Sure, yeah, like you're flaunting it a little bit in front of him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This is worth a pretty penny too. Okay. Well, the trader is going to have a bit of like light flash in his eyes kind of thing where he sees the reflection of the item. You can see it kind of shining in a glint in his eye, and he takes a step away from his chair and towards the like one of the side of the table with the more martial wares, and he'll say, "You're in luck, my friend. A good dwarf, and even a good halfsmith like myself, is usually wont to swing maces and axes. But the more pristine, up-close and personal weapons I, too, have a taste for." And he produces a scimitar. This one was so ideal for sailing the seas. May it find use in your scabbard. And he presents it to you.
I'd like to look over it, almost like trying to make it like a big deal that I'm looking over it, like
Okay.
and trying to see like how good of a quality it is.
Okay. The scimitar does seem to be of a fine make. There's a couple of markings on it that might indicate that it had seen some use, but nothing that would indicate that it would do a poor job. If you want to roll me a history check, we will use that for identifying martial weapons. And then I don't know if you want to roll me a performance check for your display. With a roll of 19 on the history check, you're going to be pretty sure that this blade is one of those serrated scimitars. The tipped edge is most useful for not just in, a good slice, but also quite good at causing a little bit of bleeding damage afterwards.
All right, so the performance check was kind of shit, but I feel like I can roleplay it out.
That's
maybe
fine,
a little
yeah.
bit.
That's not really
So like kind of looking over it, maybe like putting a finger to the serrated edge or whatever.
Yeah.
He'll place it back down very nicely onto the table, and he'll look back to him and say, "Yes, the serrated weapons." And at this point, he'll probably start to get like, to any like sane person, he might like start to feel a little like creepy, like why are you so interested in serrated weapons? These weapons tend to be more personal than the usual. Do you have any more weapons like these? Maybe a dagger or two that could be of similar quality.
Oh.
And he'll like move the scimitar to the side, not to like, he's not like putting it away to say he's not going to buy it, but just like trying to change the focus.
I see. Okay. Well, he'll say, so he'll give you an understanding nod, and he'll say, "Yes, of course. If you're looking for serrated blades, I do possess a single dagger that would fit the bill, but perhaps you'd be more of interest in this weapon." And he rustles in a pack, and then kind of like a grimace strikes his face, and then he produces the weapon he spoke of that's already got a bit of blood on the tip, apparently from his own hand. Nothing crazy, just a little bit. And he quickly, hurriedly wipes it with his sleeve and then proffers it to you. Using the same history skill check for this, this dagger seems like the blade is certainly valid. The real pièce de résistance for it is the hilt that allows for a little bit more power to be exerted when it strikes. So you get the feeling that this would be useful for just inflicting a little bit extra damage when you totally overpower your target.
As he'll take it from the hands of the halfsmith, like very gently, and his eyes he'll just try to make it a point that his eyes kind of light up. But maybe it's probably not even a fake. He's never really seen a weapon like this in his own hands or held a weapon like this.
Right.
And he'll say, "Now this, I'm afraid, my friend, you've have quite the read on me. How much for this weapon?"
He'll be sizing you up and he'll say, "A dagger like that? I reckon it would go for 30 gold easily. But since I have got that read on you, I'll sell it to you for 20.
Ooh. I'm afraid I may be 3 gold short, but I have some weapons or other things that we could trade to add up the difference.
He'll put a hand to his chin thoughtfully and say, "What have you in mind?"
Well, I have my 2 daggers, but these are very simple daggers, and if you do not feel as though that is quantifiable, maybe I just, well, before I get ahead of myself, how do you feel about these 2 daggers?
Do you present the 2 daggers to him? Ah, okay. He'll sort of give them an odd stare and look to you inquisitively as he reaches forward, as if asking for permission wordlessly to examine them more closely.
I will give them to him.
And he'll turn them over one at a time, thumbing the blade gently, especially after what he just did. And he'll say, "They would cut well. I reckon this will be enough to cover the difference of your 3 gold."
Well then, it was a pleasure doing business with you. It's a shame I never got your name. Mine is Sam. It is nice to meet you. And as he hands him the 2 daggers, he'll keep the dagger he just bought in his left hand, and offer his right hand for a shake.
This is before or after you provide him the gold?
He'll hand him the
Okay.
gold sack, and then as he pulls his hand off of the sack,
Gotcha.
on the table, he'll offer it for a shake.
So the man will say, "Ah, of course. A pleasure doing business indeed. I am Brunner and Kernia."
Pleasure doing business, Brunner. I suppose I'll see you around more. Please do feel free to let me know if you see anything like these weapons. And who knows, I might have to come back for a serrated weapon or 2.
He gives you a wry smile and says, "I will certainly keep a lookout. You're the only one I've met so far that seems of interest buying it, so you should be in a good market for it."
Perfect. And he'll turn back to rejoin his party.
It's about this point when you kind of make the deal and share the lines that, the barkeep kind of wraps around and is coming out with a tray of ales and plops 2 on the table and says, "One of our new guests was just ordered around for everyone." And Brunner will seem quite delighted by this as he takes the ale.
So he takes 1 ale, and I was left another.
Yes, that's right.
I will make it a point to slide it over to him as I leave.
He'll give you a curt, like, kind of knowing smile or nod or whatever, and there you go. So that as you approach, there's a cheer of who do we hate? The elves, and that's then about every dwarf in the building just about immediately quaffs a beverage, though the singing doesn't stop. So you reckon that the performer has not quite stopped to join in.
So you're saying the performer is an elf?
Narath would like to ask the barkeep what's the name of the performer.
Caught your eye, has she? That's Arame, also Enkernia.
So what?
Enkernia. I'll spell it out. Hold on.
Oh, so that's just her full name.
Yeah.
Arme and Carnia.
I think seeing that the party is in good hands and Narath is again going after women.
What?
No, that's Shambler.
Jason.
That's not Narath.
Yeah, no, it's a bit. Seeing that the party is in good hands,
Yeah, Narath's drinking, dude.
Sam is gonna kind of like, as he walks by, he'll pat Silas on the shoulder and say, "I'm gonna go check on the rest of them," and then he'll leave to go see what he'll leave to go see Ro and Darux, and then also go check to see if there's any update from Astorium or anywhere to find Astorium.
Okay. So
As he gives the
go ahead.
particularly good, like particularly good, or is it like stock standard?
It's strong, but it also doesn't have the normal aftertaste of an ale. It seems to go down quite smoothly. And
No, I said the music, not the
oh,
ale.
the music. Well, you cut out, so I was reading context
Oh,
clues because
sorry.
I just mentioned that you were drinking, so I thought that's what you were doing. The song,
All right.
well, as mentioned, but when you walked in, the performance seems to be providing quite a bit of like an uplift, right? So as soon as you all walked in, there was that feeling of like, oh, things are looking, things are feeling quite merry and good and all that. And it seemed to be one of those things where it seemed to be coming from the music itself in some ways, right? And so as soon as the music hit your ears, that was the kind of vibes that you all got. So it's safe to say that her singing sounds pretty good.
All right. So Narath will say to the barkeep, "I am an old man, for my kind at least, and and I can tell talent when I hear it. You are lucky to have such a performer, yes?"
Indeed, the barkeep responds, quaffing the last of his on the house beverage, and looking towards her, but not very long. Almost averts his gaze, like almost dismissively, and turns back to polishing off, washing out certain mugs and whatnot, and says, "She's half lesser, but a good voice, I cannot deny."
Half lesser.
A half-smith. He looks up at you with a slightly furrowed brow, as if saying it makes him feel some form of shame or remorse. Father was a
Do
human.
not take. Oh, say that again.
Her father was a human.
And this is not. Almost said kosher. This is not. This is not welcome in this land.
Well, let's say we do what we must. The half-smiths are half our people. So, They join with us in these more human-dominant lands. Most of us belong to the dwarven city of Kernia, deep in the south. You won't find many living, what would you say? You won't, he sort of like, is, at this point, he's kind of like looking wistfully internally as he says this, right? His eyes are almost glazed over in a way, and he says, you won't find many of our ancestors in a place like this. Kernia, though, a bustling city, bazaars and mines. A real dwarven land, that. A forge city. And he sort of comes back into the present and says, the growing unrest in the south, that has been more than many of our people can handle. And so we fled. And we eke out an existence, biding time, as it shall be for generations.
Picking up the scraps of what the elves and their human dogs leave them.
With like he's like choking the word out almost as he says this, like it with a big sneer, and he just says, exactly.
And what of drow in this city? I hear that there is an inquisitor of such descent.
The dwarf makes it look like he's about ready to spit when you say drow, and when you say inquisitor, he actually does spit onto the ground of his own establishment. I'd rather not speak. You should know, inquisitor eyes and ears are everywhere.
Indeed, as they were at the Elven Isle so recently. I had the misfortune of watching what must have been a battalion of King's Guard march their way down. I guess I should be happy. That can only mean trouble for the knife ears, yes?
If you ask me, they might be in cahoots. But whether there's a conspiracy on the king's life means little to us. What we care about is making sure those elves stop terrorizing us with their horrors.
Horrors?
Look, I said that we pick up the scraps, yes? We do what we must to survive. And right now that means, his voice is kind of getting louder, but he checks himself. Right now, that means we fulfill contracts for the knife ears. And that means shipping. Shipping their misbegotten creations wherever they desire. Gold is gold, but doesn't sit right with me.
At this, Narath will put another silver down on the table and say, perhaps there are other sources of gold in this world for your people to survive on. Yes? And he'll just push it towards him without really going any further. Sort of giving him a knowing look.
He doesn't meet your gaze. Instead, he just sort of stares at the silver piece, and he's gonna be like that for just a moment or two of like silence, and that'll be a good point to ask Silas what he's been doing during this conversation.
So was any of this audible from where I'm sitting?
What do you think, Narath? Were you speaking audibly?
It's low tones.
Over the music and the distance, you might pick up scraps of conversation that would... I mean, it's Narath speaking, so maybe that would also pique your interest, Silas. You can decide if you want Silas to, like, pay more attention to it, in which case you can roll a perception or just get closer. Or you can just sort of soak it in passively and have your own talk.
Well,
Not
I guess I don't hear much.
Yeah, you hear them talking about elves, inquisitors. You see the dwarf spit, that kind of thing.
Wait. What about my passive perception?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think your passive perception would be the failsafe for the roll, right? Because it's like
It's 15.
Yeah. No, actually, I suppose you'd probably passively hear most of that conversation. Maybe the only thing that wasn't clear would have been the very end of it, since it was much more quiet, if you will. Like, basically, as soon as he brought up the Inquisitor, things got a bit hard to hear.
Okay, so with that being the case, Silas will lean forward just ever so slightly, looking towards Narath, and he will cast message, and Narath, you'll hear in your mind. Does he know anything that would be useful to us?
Narath will respond mentally. Yes, but be careful. He isn't in the employment of the elves. Not willingly, from the sound of it. Allow me to do my work.
If you cannot sway, I'll cast message one more time, and I'll say, if you cannot sway him, send him my way.
Will do.
All right. Are you going to be working on Ludman at all during this time? He's just guzzling beers and staring at he's guzzling ale and staring towards the performer.
Yeah, so I guess trusting Narath to handle the current conversation, Silas will turn to Ludman and he will say, with a slight elbow to get his attention back. So, now that we are amongst good company, I feel it's only fair, that the elves of this city have been up to no good. Is there anything that you could share with me? Perhaps anything that we could work together against them?
Ludman exclaims as he sets down his ale mug, and the third of which he's guzzled down already since entering the bar. And he slurs towards you. Well, I think you'd like the look of my ships, the ones I work on frequently. Crawling with elves, I tells you. What I wouldn't give for a fireball and breathing water. He's quickly becoming incoherent, but it sounds like he's working on a ship when he's not guzzling ale, and that the elves are involved.
Tell me, Ludman, on those ships you've been working on, you seen any big crates?
The biggest you ever see. Why, they're wrapped in skin, eh? You know that? He's almost like pointing at you accusatorily, but then quickly gets back to drinking ale and forgetting what he just said.
What kind of skin, lad? Another ale in it for you.
Another ale.
God, don't give him more ale.
Another ale. And he like pounds at the bar incoherently, though doesn't seem like he's shaken the barkeep. He's like trained to ignore him by now, perhaps. He says, I don't know why they wrap him in skin. I never did find that out. Oh, what kind? Maybe human. Smells like it.
You ever hear any strange sounds coming from them?
The skin makes sounds? You're funny.
That would be funny, but the crates, I mean.
No crates made sounds. Unless you're talking about the one we jumped in the water by mistake. Drowned it did. Sounded like a dying animal.
Any animal you've heard before?
Well, I never drowned an animal before. Maybe they all sound like that.
I like this dwarf.
Well,
I really like this dwarf.
I'll bet it didn't sound like an elf, at least.
Ha! Elves drown differently. I drowned an elf before, at least once.
Silas will raise an eyebrow at him.
Oh, he took me ale. Didn't even like it. Fuck.
I guess he deserved it then.
Right, he did. Now where's me ale? Oh. And he dumps the last of his bottle into a mug and downs it.
I guess once the conversation with Narath continues a bit, Silas will raise a 5 copper for the bartender to see, and he'll point at Ludman.
Perfect. Okay, so Blink, you've left the tavern despite its many conversations, and you've got yourself a brand new dagger, and exactly 0 money. By the way, that's very impressive.
Made it through.
And you're headed towards the stable. In the process, you can roll me a perception check if you're looking actively for Mr. Ashtorian. Ashtorium, are you still attempting to actively be stealthy?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to need a stealth check.
Oh,
That is a nat 1. I'm going to have to save him from all the people he's watching.
So, unexpectedly, especially after what you surmise must have been a grand performance of stealth, as you're walking towards the stable, you see Ashtorium. Well, you surmise that's him because while Ashtorium seems to have been walking somewhere, he trips over an object that he wasn't initially expecting and doesn't quite fall face first, but kind of stumbles a bit, and you hear, "Oh!" from his head.
So I see him like on the ground.
No, he's still standing. He stumbled, and the
he
dwarf
stumbled.
the
Okay,
dwarf head
I
said
see.
something.
or would that be acrobatics?
Oh, are you trying to save yourself
no
from
way.
falling?
Yeah.
I think it would be acrobatics.
I don't think I have a +4 to acrobatics. I don't think I'd be stumbling on anything.
Yeah, but you nat
Well-
one.
Well,
to
you nat
stealth
one to
check.
stealth check, so I'm thinking you were trying to hide somewhere,
Okay.
in a. Well, how would you be stealthing and towards sunset? Like, I'm trying to think how you could possibly fail a stealth check. Maybe instead of it being you, it's just your dwarf, and he just says something.
And he just started shouting.
No,
for
he
reason.
sneezes,
Oh, very loudly. Draws attention to it.
and then he goes,
The
"Oh, sorry."
Yeah, that would work.
Okay, perfect. So a distinctly dwarven sneeze erupts from directly behind you, in a sort of like area that's right next to the beginning of an alleyway between the bar and the tavern, or the tavern and the stable. And then you hear, "Oh shit, he's coming."
Flipping around, he's gonna try and locate Astorium because I'm assuming I know what the idiot dwarf sounds like.
Yes, it matches Skelter's voice. Well, Ashtorium, you've been made by your dwarf, but you do see Blink moving in a direction, looking specifically, presumably for you. Do you
I
reveal
will
yourself?
use the thieves' cant to tell him that there's a tail nearby and to alert the team.
Responding in kind and thieves can't. He's gonna say that Narath and Silas are in the tavern and that they should probably remain there, and that we should I'll actually, so he'll say Narath and Silas are in the tavern, and then he'll switch back to common and say, "But we should go find Ro and Darix. Give me a chance to use my new dagger." And he will brandish it and kind of show it off a little bit. Before
Ashtorium
starting
will
off after
follow.
Ro and Darix.
Wait, what did Ashtorium
Ashtorium
ask?
will follow. He'll follow.
Oh, okay.
No, Astorium exclaimed at my cool knife and then decided to follow.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering if that had happened. Okay.
I think it'd be funnier if he just doesn't react at all. The knife.
I think it would be even funnier if the dwarf is the one who reacts.
He's trying to be quiet. He's stealthy.
In the quick second that they have to walk towards the stable, I'm assuming they're a little farther away than the tavern.
Mhm.
He'll kind of retreat into his mind and ask Slinter, and he'll say, "What do you think about the knife?"
You presently get no response from Slinter. It's as if he may not be there, or may be slumbering, or reading, or other things that Slinter does.
So I don't sense him at all.
No slintering.
No
in your
Slinter
mind.
right now.
He's gonna try and mentally knock on a door, if that makes sense.
Sure, trying to get his attention more sharply.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, give me a. Let me see here.
Is there an annoying check?
We can make it persuasion.
Slinterness, slintering.
That's pretty good. Not
Yeah,
good
but look
enough.
what I got.
Oh my god.
Roll
1d20 minus 2 because he's an idiot.
You sense a vague stirring, but it's almost labored, and you don't get any reaction other than that.
Well, he really wants to know Slinter's opinion of his dagger, so he's kind of miffed, and he'll kind of take a second to think about how he's been slighted by Slinter this time.
Okay.
I don't know if this is good or bad for what I wanted to happen.
You wanted to beef with Slinter, but now you're too smart.
Well, I wanted the wisdom was to see. So what I wanted to happen, or what I think would happen, is that if he got like really miffed about it and like really annoyed, he was just gonna like mentally yell the word Slinter like really loudly.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if this would mean that cooler heads would prevail, or if he would actually think that it's a good idea.
Cooler heads would prevail. if it's
Yeah,
a high-
I do think cooler heads would prevail. So he'll be like, so he'll mentally respond saying, "Okay, Slinter, fine. Please just tell me if anything's wrong in there. I know there's a lot of things in my head." And he'll continue to walk to go meet with Ro and Darks.
All right. So you and Ashtorium are on your way to meet with Ro and Darix. And as that's happening, Ro and Darix, Darix is just sleeping. I think we've established that.
Yep.
So,
Sleeping
while
fully.
Darix's player is sleeping, I'm guessing Darix will just be kind of like pensively, like passively meditating or whatever, and like kind of maybe even attempting to attune and attempt to speak with the dragon egg or something like that. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Oh shit, he's awake.
Yeah.
Yo, Darix woke up.
That's impressive.
Yep. It's very impressive. It's extremely impressive. It's the most impressive
Holy
shit
shit!
ever.
Drunk as this dwarf.
Dude,
What'd you say?
you missed some good dialogue, but you're also
I'll be alright.
you'll be fine. You're just we were just checking back in with what Ro and Darix were doing this time, and we expected that you would be schnoozing, but Darix would just be kind of like meditating, praying, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, he hasn't had a time to himself at all lately, so
Yeah.
he'd be doing that for sure.
Now, does Darix trust Ro to sort of watch over the egg during this time, or is it going to be one of those like meditation prayers that is like half also focused on the corporeal world, so you can respond to any disturbance?
It's actually less Ro and just like everything else
Yes.
about being here,
Yeah.
that has him
Yeah.
still, kind of half.
As far as I know, you don't like the stunties, so.
Oh, he doesn't like anybody.
Yeah, but you guys have had run-ins with them, so I wonder if that
Right.
would be because you guys did it. You did share war stories. Darix and Ro did share a little bit, like
Mhm.
No, Derek's likes Ro.
yeah.
He
I just
thinks
mean
that
that you guys both fought the dwarves, right? And you guys both
Yeah.
shared with
We
each
had
other
talked
that you
about
fought the dwarves. Yeah, in the last session.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wonder
Yes,
if that
correct.
would come up as like you're trying to not be recognized.
Yeah, it's a little hard, and he's not like he doesn't have anything to even hide himself, so it's really hard for him to even actively try to do that. So
I think Blink gave you a cloak because he gave Ro a cloak, and he gave
Oh, okay.
Ashtorm a
Yes, I
cloak.
gave everyone that does not have a cloak, including Harlot Slayer.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll be wearing the cloak.
Right. Maybe you're like displeased at the fact that you have to hide yourself, thinking
Oh,
like
yeah,
White
absolutely.
Draconin Trust Society and all that.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. It's like this place sucks, dude.
Well, you two could maybe even bond over that, since Rose probably never worn a cloak. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
Yeah, he's wild man, so he's not used to wearing lots of clothes.
Yeah, right. So with Darix more or less, stowing himself away to, be protective of the egg and also be somewhat, praying and meditating. What is Ro going to be doing during this time?
Ro might be actually checking his own wounds
Mm-hmm.
because he's not feeling good.
That's
He's
right.
pretty wrecked.
That's
and
right.
probably resting up against the wall of the stable
Mm-hmm.
and kind of thinking to himself that this is a really bad situation they found themselves in. Because he's pretty sure the Royal Guard are gonna find them.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they can't really hide. Like, we put on cloaks, but we're still like 3 7-foot tall monster men, a robot, and a couple of other guys, and a wheelbarrow. Like,
yeah.
they're gonna. It's not gonna take them long to.
You weren't
piece
moving
together.
fast. You were
Right.
not that hard to see in a crowd. Yeah, that makes sense.
But at the same time, Ro is like, but we have to rest because otherwise we're gonna die. I don't know what to do. So he's kind of like worried and leaning up and like trying to rest, but at the same time, it's hard for him to rest while he's concerned about what's going to happen.
Okay, gotcha. There will be this like wordless presence in your mind that is one of those like memories, like kind of invokes a memory of when you were fighting in the manor and you welcomed the spirit that had been trying to pursue the death of the Elven Masters, if you remember.
Oh yes.
And it will sort of like bring through this like, again, it's not communicating via words, it's more like emotions and
And
like
feelings.
at certain thoughts. So when you like think of the Inquisitor and the Royal Guard, there's going to be a like recognition, but of like not necessarily of them, but of like the kind of recognition you get when like if Ro has ever been in a situation where he's done something and the consequences have arrived, and it almost feels like the inevitable conclusion, like to what happens when like something doesn't quite go your way. Like you took a risk,
Like
and here's the
a bit
consequence.
of guilt and oh shit.
Yeah, there's like there's a bit of that, as it's sort of coming into play there. And so and then like that kind of feeling almost permeates through you for a moment as you feel like a note of finality, and then the connection to this spirit simply snuffs out.
Oh, okay. They're moving on.
More that they've been snuffed out, as opposed to doing it themselves.
Oh. Well, that's not good.
There's like a distinct feeling of absence within the like where you were. It's like it's as if somebody was just in the middle of conversing with you, and then they suddenly were silenced, like couldn't speak anymore mid-syllable. That's
So
a mental equivalent, right?
that's gonna freak out Ro quite a bit. Because
Okay.
I don't think he's had any of the spirits just like suddenly just vanish.
Yeah, he probably hasn't had any of the spirits leave at all. If you're
Right,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
The problem is the other problem. They won't fucking go. So,
Yeah, that is his problem. like, oh no, they're hunting me forever.
yeah. So to have one
So then-
vanish, yeah. This would be a new experience.
Yeah. So then he might actually like stand up, like, and like look around, expecting that something has caused this to happen.
Hmm.
I assume he's going to find nothing, but
Well, in the stable, there will be like there's like the flickering of lights outside, and there's the, like the torchlight and the sort of watch pyres that are on, like the different like pillars with fire on them that kind of indicate, like common guard patrol spots, right? You're familiar with them from when you went to the Grey Brews, the Harkman and Sons area, and
Right.
stuff like that. So, it's a regular fixture of the city architecture, and those are casting their own sort of baleful glow of the orangey yellow.
right.
But there is a distinctly different color to the sky, and so that will catch your eye. Like it's a bit more of a sea green, but faded. Definitely a different kind of color, and it's sort of like that's just something that you'll see out like the. It's like one of those stables where they have like a built-in sort of window towards the stars, so you can't really see. You don't have line of sight on what might be causing that light, but it would indicate that there is a difference in the light outside.
I think at that, Ro is going to be interested in going out to see what's going on, but he is definitely going to be wearing the cloak as like tightly over himself as he can.
Okay. Let's see. Can we get a row stealth check? 7 foot tall stealth check.
7 foot tall stealth check.
Can we get a 7 foot tall stealth?
Are we here for this, or is this while like everything else was happening in the tavern?
Yeah, we're gonna have this be.
9. That's definitely not enough.
Well, you do your best, Ro, as you exit.
Does he get advantage because of the cloak?
He gets a modifier because of the cloak, and that gives him exactly 10. So good job.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
It's mid.
it's better than 9.
That's right. So, yeah. So this is around the same time, like as Ro is leaving. That same light would be very much apparent in the sky to Blink and Ashtorium. And that light is coming from far to the south. Like, pretty much where you originated from, where you entered from, but you get the sense that that source of sea green light that's like a pillar almost, not reaching the stars, but reaching several feet, several distances into the skies, like into the air, so to speak, right? So Ro will be able to see that as he exits, that it is coming from the south. And Ashtorium and Blink will also have eyes on it. And this will be something that like would definitely be out of place, not something you have witnessed before.
Yeah, definitely.
Would we have any reason to believe that this has anything to do with like the tail or the King's Guard or anything?
Well, it is magic. Like, I assume.
It's very much in the horizon on the horizon in the distance, so it's much farther away. It's like very,
I'm
very
guessing
far
it's
away.
maybe the island.
Oh, okay. So it has nothing to do with us.
It's not like
right now.
right next to you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
be a good journey to get to wherever that is.
I think Blink would just kind of be shocked and like shock and awe, just kind of staring at it,
Mm. Well,
And he would actually shock and awe staring at it, and then he would ask Slinter what it is.
well, you still don't get much of a response from Slinter, and it's at this you might be clued more into the fact that it seems more that Slinter is incapable of responding right now.
Is there some sort of insight, like something to see as to why that would be, or
You could try Arcana.
fucking rolls, dude? Oh my
Good
god!
roll.
So the connection that you have with Slinter seems to be being jeopardized by something, but you're not immediately sure as to what.
I'm only with Astorium at this point.
You would see Ro
Well, I think
not
You're
being very
walking up to where Ro is.
yeah, like you'd see Ro being not very stealthy in his cloak. Like at least you'd see one of the two tall ones, and since it's Darix is probably with the egg, and the egg is not with the figure. It's
Reasonable
probably
to
Ro.
assume,
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, or maybe I'd recognize the cloak I gave him or something.
yeah. If it was different than the one you gave Darix,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it probably would be all different. So.
Yeah. So shock and awe, realizing that something is happening to Slinter and he's not talking and he can't talk and whatnot. Not really showing panic, but maybe Astorium, who's been with him most, would probably tell that he's not necessarily himself, his calm self, is going to say, Ash, Ro, something is happening to Slinter. I'm assuming it's something that's happening to all of us. He can't talk. I don't know if it has anything to do with that thing, but I do hope we can figure this out.
So Ro's gonna turn to Blink, and he's gonna say, I experienced something similar just now. I was interacting with one of my spirits when suddenly it's as if it had just disappeared.
Any chance that is the similar timing to the massive green light in the sky?
It was immediately afterwards that I noticed the green light. Do you think it may be related to that Inquisitor woman that we saw earlier?
I sure hope not, but I don't know what else it would be, frankly. Oh,
Well,
and it seems like it's the least of our problems right now, but we were followed here. Astorium gave me the idea that there is at least a few of the King's Guard following us on our way here.
That is absolutely awful news, because we are in no situation to fight them.
Ash, where did you see them last? Maybe me and you can get the jump on them.
Astorium will point out the alleyway.
There's an
And then see what they went
alleyway
up
that is like between two structures that are across the street from the tavern and the stables that Astorium gestures to.
And you'll mention that one of the followers, one of the guards, left in a hurry.
Without a doubt, to get more. This is, as Rose said, not good. Definitely not ideal. Okay. I have an idea. Me and Ash try and get the drop on them, while Ro, you go get the others from the tavern, explain the situation as fast as possible, and we at least cut down the numbers so that the reinforcements have less people to come save.
You want me to go into the tavern? I believe we already established that might be a bad idea, but I suppose if there is no other option, I will attempt to not aggravate the dwarves.
You make a good point. Okay. Maybe I try to get the drop on them. Ashtorium goes to get the others, and you stay in the area waiting for the others to follow.
Makes sense.
That's settled then.
You want
And,
us to fight like this? Blurts Gelter.
I don't want to. I just don't know that we have a choice. If we wait for even more, I don't know that we'll have the chance to wake up and fight them in the moment. I'm open to ideas for sure. Even your ideas, Gelter. Say, actually, Gelter, why can you still talk?
That is a good point.
Was I supposed to be muzzled?
Well,
No, it's just ever since that green light in the sky, and he'll point to it. It doesn't seem like the others that we have can talk, but you seem unaffected. It's impressive. I'm just why?
It's because I'm immune to sleep.
I'm also immune to sleep.
Oh, never mind.
that would be a funny reason though. And it's just like suddenly Splinter talks very well.
Well, immune to sleep and not needing to sleep are two different things.
No, I'm immune to sleep.
Yeah, but you don't need to sleep. Eh?
There's my ideas of why the head people are asleep.
Wait, they're just sleeping?
Possibly. That was my idea.
We don't know, but it does seem like it may be related to the green light. So I assume it's probably some sort of magic that has been cast.
Wait, but surely Splinter would be immune to sleep too. He's a changeling.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it has anything to do with sleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So unless he's sleeping willingly, which
It could just be that he's a robot, and so his connection to his spirit is different.
that's probably the reasonable thing to assume. Unless Gelter can actually tell us the reason, but I don't think he's smart enough for that.
I don't think he has any idea of what's going on.
Yeah, he's just gonna be like, I didn't think that the others would have any trouble.
Yeah.
All right. Three-Cry had the right idea, in my opinion. BRP. Any other actions or things you want to wrap up in this conversation before we BRP? Bathroom break?
Nope. I think Ro's gonna wait outside because he doesn't want to get killed by dwarves.
Yeah, so Ash is going to get the others. Blink's putting up his hood and going to try and scout ahead. I guess it's
Ro might go get Darux, actually.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Should I be acting under the? I wonder. Is it reasonable for me to act under the assumption that they did not see me change into myself, my current self?
Wait.
And so, because before I went in, I changed into Sam.
Yeah.
Would it be reasonable for Blink to assume that the tail did not see that happen?
Yeah, you found a pretty secluded place, so you can assume.
I'm big chillin' now. Hell yeah, Dark.
GG, Darks. Good night. Sleep well.
Yep. Good night, boys. Sorry.
Good night. It's all good.
All good, homie.
All right. No dinner, man. No late man. Next Saturday. No.
No dinner, man. Zero
If,
to
only, if only Darix was Astorium.
Since we also can't have any Sunday mans.
no Sunday man.
Yeah.
That's a good... Wait, is he gonna rejoin to tell Shambler he's the Rambler?
He's
gonna
too
do that
tired.
every session.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
there's no shot he remembers to do that. He's way too tired.
It would have been
In the
amazing
light
if he
of
did, though.
discovering its daylight savings changing, do we want to do anything about that?
Yeah, I didn't know if you had factored that in, Lucy. We are gonna all lose
I
an
forgot
hour.
about that.
Yeah, I always forget about that.
Oh shit, is that tonight?
Yeah, apparently that's what Alexander
Oh.
said. I didn't check that though.
Well, if it is tonight, at least it's the weekend. It'd be a lot worse if it was tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will BRB, and you guys can discuss if you want to hang out for how long, how much longer you wish to hang out, and all that. We can always like wrap up from here, or we can attempt to do a thing else for a little bit. But I shall return. BRB.
I don't know about you guys, but my vote is that we try to make it to the long rest at the very least.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how long that's gonna be if we're gonna get attacked by guards or whatever.
So, TLDR was giant light, scary light in the sky that's making our ghost friends go away.
That's
Pretty
the,
much.
That's
And
the
then
running
Royal
theory.
Guard are
And we're also
tailing
being
us.
followed. So
Yeah.
Ash is getting you guys. I'm scouting, and Rose getting Darix.
Yep.
I say we try and bribe the. Well, okay, do we want to run away from the light?
Well, so the light is way in the south. It's entirely plausible. It's just gonna go away on its own eventually. Like it's probably the ladies.
I
who
feel like
met
it's
on
it's
the-
one of
on
those
the
things
island.
that I feel like if we went there, the light would probably be gone by the time we got there
Yeah,
because it's just that far. So
I'm
Well,
guessing
we're
it's
not going to
magically
the
moved on
light.
the
I
island.
meant like get away from it to save our head friends.
Well,
I don't know if it's a proximity thing as much as it's just like I don't know, or rather, it's obviously probably a proximity thing. I don't know if it's
we're
a
gonna be
small.
able to get
I don't know if
like,
the proximity
maybe the
is small
entire
enough.
city,
Yeah.
especially since it's from the island. I'm guessing that's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
most. That would make the most sense. Because she went in
Yes.
there earlier, and now she's probably just fucking nuking the place.
Yeah. So
Nuking the place in such a... So basically, I think she's doing like a mass banishment spell of undead.
Could be. She's doing
Yeah.
something big.
that's the question though. Is like,
But then why?
it'd have to be something that wouldn't affect Gelter,
Right.
Astorium.
But would it affect all the other.
but would affect everyone else. Yeah.
Well, I think Ashtorium is being played as soulless, and so I think he's Gelter is truly bonded to the body in this case.
Well,
I
or he
agree
just
with
doesn't
that
count as
as well.
undead because he's in a construct or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
I don't think Solus would quite work as an idea.
Yeah, I know he's not. I know he's not soulless, but I think sort of the like
The way he's bonded is different.
Pinocchio
from
is
construct.
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure. The way
Another person.
something is
Another
different. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But yeah, as far as playing goes, like obviously, like people have time constraints, so that's whatever. But I'm good for whatever the fuck. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
good
go
too.
until the rest, because I do have to wake up, but not really wake up. If you get what I'm saying. So
yeah, I mean, I figured the easiest like stopping point would be this. Whatever happens with these guys, most likely a combat, and
Yeah.
I don't
long-
think
and
there's
on
gonna
the long
combat
race.
wars. There's no. I don't think there's gonna be a combat. We don't have time for a combat. Combat's like an hour.
I think it'll be.
Yeah,
like,
I think we
Well, I
can
say we-
they hide us.
We shoot for the rest. If we get interrupted and the rest doesn't happen, then whatever. We just pick up next time.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's fine.
The question is how do we get to the rest?
I mean, we gotta figure out these idiots first.
We need
We-
the rest at the tavern if we want the rest. But
Part of why I was having Silas try to like build rapport with the dwarves is so that they would cover for us and or help if like elves just came in talking shit.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what Narath's doing. He's like, hey, maybe there's other sources of coin here that I represent, that maybe you don't have to question your morals anymore. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
and
something can happen
transport
here. I'm
blood
gonna
boxes.
just start talking about how I also I have a homeland that I miss and all that, and really get on like an interpersonal, like, yeah, we're the same, you and I. A couple old men longing for home, but forced to eke out an existence for people we hate. Maybe we can help each other out. And he like hides us in the basement or something for a night. Is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to gun for here.
Or he just straight up like lies for us and gives us some rooms, or we pay for the rooms, but he says that there's like dwarves staying in them or something.
Exactly. Problem is,
And the
like,
one room they
you're
check is
seeing
mine, and
me
I'm a
and
dwarf.
Go ahead.
No, just the one room they'll start like checking rooms, and one of them will be like Ludman's, and they'll be like, oh, that's a dwarf, and then they'll be like, all right, we'll check one more just to make sure, and I hear them like knock on the door and say it's the King's Guard, so I quickly shapeshift into a dwarf.
Assuming the King's Guard
A
knows.
naked dwarf, and then you open the door.
Yeah, it's just like really awkward.
What the bloody hell? I have rights.
Yeah, exactly.
You better not stop resisting because I was fucking born in Carmarthen.
You?
But yeah, Narath. No, it's just the problem is that when Narath hears, oh yes, green light in the sky that's making Yavina go away. I don't know what's gonna happen there. I guess
Good times I
Narath
need to
could
find
try
out.
and secure a place to rest, and then he would try to like magically ward his room. If he could figure out what the spell being cast is. Yeah. So I'll that'll be well be in mind.
What have we decided, homies?
We're gonna try and push until we can get to the rest.
Yes, we're pushing for a long rest.
We're gonna try to push for the rest, but if it gets interrupted for any reason, then maybe you pick up next time.
Pushing for the long rest.
Yep. People want to not die.
I'm glad I just checked the. He just honked you.
Mm-hmm.
Honked himself to sleep. Hey, Colin, I'm going to DM you something, and you can react however you want to react.
Oh shit.
Winter is dead.
Is this game related?
No.
Okay.
I hope
Splinter's alive in real
Oh.
life.
I hope you literally just DM him. I am you? ?
I'm sure this will be really dumb. What the fuck? What does that mean?
3.
Yeah, but like, who did he do this? Where, when, and why did this occur? Dude, this is not. When I said this was
At
gonna
a
be
bar.
dumb,
In
I did not expect anything like. Why was he cooking? What? Question
Why was
mark?
he cooking?
Yeah. At a bar.
Dude.
That's what they do, apparently.
Okay.
What is he like cooking like dragon eggs in real life?
Yeah, basically.
That's
That explains the vomiting. Alright. So.
Jesus Christ.
So. Last I heard.
I like no context.
Yeah, it's
Just,
better.
Yeah.
Last
Leave it
I
cold
heard.
turkey.
So it was Ashtorium's duty to come back to the tavern. It was Blink's duty to scout ahead. It was Rose's duty to go get Darix and or just sit there, depending on what he wanted to do, like be inconspicuous as best he can, or go back to the
Sleepworks.
Take his cloak off and start running around.
Yeah, there you go.
In the middle of the street.
Why stop at the cloak?
There you
Give the ladies
go.
what they really want.
So while we wait for Ashtorium, Blink, and Ro to do their things, we can come back to the tavern. Where,
No, I started moving because I'm here.
Not here
I thought you were waiting for me to do my thing.
see, get it? We can, we can have, the barkeep sort of, slide the silver piece back towards Narath as he says, I appreciate the kindness, but I am not at liberty to give any more information. And then he'll begin walking towards Silas, who has been offering the pieces of copper, already filling a mug and passing it to Ludman.
Fucking damn it.
As he does
Yes,
so,
rascal.
Silas will see him look towards Ludman with some degree of contempt, as if to say, "The hell's wrong with you?" As Ludman is at this point just kind of laughing to himself.
One thing I can't wait for is for the voice in Ashtorium's head to pipe up in this bar full of dwarfs.
All right, Narath, what are you doing now?
Narath will try and get the barkeeper over again. He's finished his ales by now. He puts another 5 copper on the table. Another silver, actually, for the ales. The motion with his fingers to the ales. Another 2.
Do you have something magical that would prevent you from getting drunk?
I have a very high constitution.
Okay. Can you
Yeah,
roll me
that's
a
magical.
Constitution saving throw?
And
Oh,
I
boy.
have advantage because I am magically enhanced.
I'm afraid not, my friend. Yeah, okay.
Hey,
All right, now I'm going to need 3 more. No, I'm just kidding. Just 1 more.
Oh my god. But yeah, he'll put it down and he will say,
No, I need 1
I
more.
under-
You drank 4.
Oh, you want me
One
you
for
want
every
me to
2.
roll that?
Yeah, it's
How
pretty
many
heavy
I
stuff.
roll?
Mm-hmm.
Just 1 more.
Yeah, it is dwarven ale.
Mm.
Oh, shit.
shit.
The second set of drinks was going to start going to your head here, but you'll still be in full control of your faculties.
Okay.
I think Silas is on his second as well.
What's your Constitution, Silence?
+2.
Okay.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, man.
I'll need a saving throw from you when you finish your second one.
Okay.
Narath, as he gets the ale, Narath will say, I understand. We must all have our secrets for our various employers. But perhaps there is some information that I can provide you for hospitality sake.
Well, he'll take your silver piece and begin grabbing fresh brews for you, and he'll look to you with a furrowed brow and say, people talk to bartenders all the time, do they not?
Indeed. But I must say, it's not every day that you... Well, no. He won't say that. He'll say, indeed. Which is why I would wonder... Which is why I would ask... Man, how would I go about this? What did he say exactly before? Because I'm having trouble remembering because it's been a while. He said he's doing crates for the elves, right? He didn't specify who.
Shipping the crates for the elves, including their horrors.
Yeah.
They're whores.
Mm-hmm.
They're whores.
That's right.
right?
They're harlots.
They're harlots.
This whole
I'll
time,
just
Harlot
say,
Slayer just misunderstood the pronunciation of horror.
So Narath will say, "Indeed," which is why I must. Which is why, I ask. You cannot give details, I understand, but it is my understanding that it was the matriarch who was involved with these shipments already. Surely, it's not too much to confirm if she was the only client.
He seems to be considering his words very carefully. You can maybe try a persuasion check if you want to loosen his tongue a bit more.
If I put 2 more silver on the table, do I get advantage?
You can try that.
Okay, I put 2 more silver on the table.
All right. You can add 2 to your roll.
Ah.
It's just like I add a gold piece to the table.
You can add a 10 to your roll. Okay,
I am
dirty
very
20.
appreciative.
Oh, wait, no, you added the 2. I see. All right. I thought it was going to be post hoc. So, the man steps forth with your brews and plops them on the table, and with a very practiced hand scoops up the 3 pieces of silver, combining for the 2 pieces of the 1 piece that you provided for the ales, in one go. And he'll say, in a very low tone so as to not be picked up by anyone else, "The matriarch was a front. We deal with the male masters of the house. She speaks to us as an act of political manipulation to make it seem that tensions between our kinds are not as high as they truly are."
At this, Narath puts another silver on the table and says, "Male master," in a low voice to match his, right? So it's not easy to tell. The guy's name's Javoine, right? Or Javai?
Javai. If you're assuming that, if you're trying to mention the guy that I turn into, yeah. Javai.
Yeah.
That I ate.
Yeah.
Like Javai.
The barkeep will kind of... He'll be a bit surprised, certainly, to hear you say his name. And he'll look a bit pallid, and he'll say, "How do you know that name?"
We're friends.
At this, Narath smiles with a very knowing glance, as if the Reaper himself just heard something funny, and he says, "I told you, I hate elves."
He's going to give a knowing nod and then say, "As do we all." So, Silas, you got your brew for Ludman, and he is indeed a babbling, incoherent fool. Do you have any other questions you want to try on him? Or anything else you'd like to do at this point?
I think at this point, Silas gets the impression that he's not going to be a useful source of information. But I guess at this point, since a little time has passed, Silas will message Narath once again, and he will say, "Have you learned anything of value?"
He will message back and say, "I'm going to take a very large risk here. Be prepared to flee."
That's a good sign.
Silas will lean forward and raise an eyebrow at you.
Yeah, we don't need a safe place to sleep.
The dwarf in between Ludman and Narath sets his flask down on the table, gives a hearty belch, and says, "Good night to you all," and promptly begins to walk towards the staircase. He's not actually slurred his words nor his gait, so maybe he's actually more in shape than Ludman.
Was he drinking a lot?
A decent amount. There's like 5 flasks or mugs on the where he was, and you saw the barkeep take a few and polish them off and leave them. Get them cleaned, so to speak. So.
Silas will nudge Lidman and he'll say, "Do you know that dwarf? Does he always recover so well from his drinks?"
You'll get a few syllables out of Ludman as he says, "Criminal, I'm begging him, I don't like that guy."
Yeah, it makes sense that one.
Do I believe him?
That seems pretty believable.
You certainly do believe him, Silas.
Okay, fine.
Alright. Do I get to ask this man my big question?
You
Yeah, I like the
certainly
idea
have
that
the
if this goes wrong, Ashtarium's gonna walk in and he's just gonna see the two of them fucking running towards him, and he's gonna have a really good chance to just be autistic.
Yeah.
He punches the next dwarf.
Presuming nothing else is said by Silas, Narath will say to the barkeep, but as an elf hater, I must say, being two elf haters, while we may hate elves, your predicament makes it clear it would be a problem if they disappeared, yes?
You said, his predicament.
While we
would
may both hate elves, your situation
would be worse if
your
they
situation
disappeared?
makes it it would be a problem if they disappeared.
The dwarf will raise an eyebrow at you and say, "Disappeared how?"
Let's see. Oh, in a puff of smoke, a slash of a blade down an old gullet. Anyway, how? The point is, you would be out of a lot of coin if they went away permanently, yes?
For now, it seems our fates are entwined, as sick to my stomach it makes me. But coin comes in many forms, and we dwarves are always on the lookout.
Aye, on the lookout. On the lookout for trouble as well, yes? Like if a certain drow came knocking for accomplices, yes?
Damn, Astroium barges in, says the Inquisitors are after us.
No, don't do this. We're just trying to rest here.
The barkeep will lean forward and, in a much lower tone, say, "Accomplices." He's staring you down expectantly.
Arath will look to him, and he will say, with a grim tone, "I saw all the elves die, dwarf. The Inquisitor will be coming for... The Inquisition went marching to find their bodies. They will likely make their way through that manor and who knows what they find. I can perhaps redirect some attention away from you involvement, but I need information to do that. And I don't know if you want me to roll persuasion or intimidation.
You can do persuasion for this, I think. Seems like you're trying to be friendly as opposed to combative.
I put a gold on the table for +3.
That works for me if you're gonna do that.
Narath
That's
puts
a
a
lot of
gold
money.
on the table.
You are.
It's
It's a good thing you put a gold on the table, my man. Especially with this guy's modifier. All right. While the gold seems to have swayed him, the barkeep is not going to seem very pleased with this situation, and he will say, "Hazard pay," as he scoops the coins that you've provided in your latest round of negotiations. You should know that the Inquisitor will not be gentle with any who are accomplices to accomplices. I am taking a great risk by sheltering you.
Narath nods with an understanding look.
I recommend... He sort of thinks to himself for a moment. I recommend you find yourselves, as many of you as you have, in the basement of this establishment. We have a stowaway section that will do enough for 10 men, no more. Is that sufficient for your needs?
Narath nods.
Fine. It will take me some time to prepare it. The barkeep will stand up, indicating that the quiet business is to be done with, and begin walking towards the other patrons of the bar to refill their beverages.
Narath takes his ale and walks towards Silas.
All right. It can be around this time, I think, that Ashtorium reaches the tavern, and the door is actually closed, so I will close it, but
Oh,
we're going to say that you have it's like open, so... Like, it's not... by open, I mean it's unlocked, so you can open it. You so desire.
Bursts in.
no, he'd do it just normally. He doesn't want to draw attention. And he's going to scan the room and see you guys and say, what's the plan? We've got guards after us. They've been watching us and they know where we are.
Narath, looking to Ashtorium, will say, and it appears that I was just in time. I've secured ourselves a place to hide. But it will take he's whispering this, but it will take some time. Have the others come, but make sure that, but try to lose the tail if you can, even if for a short time.
Got it. And he'll just go back. Is it
Alrighty.
still open? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
it's open. I can see through it.
That's right.
Right.
Okay.
This man just said we were being tailed. You just told him to go back outside?
I told him to go get the others to come here, and then we'll disappear in the
Yeah.
basement.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
Well, does Silas have any words in response to the tale, or is he just sort of like silently? Is he allowing Narath to kind of? Because Narath would have basically was also filling Silas in that he's secured a little bunk for them, kind of thing. So Silas would also know that Narath has secured a hideaway spot for the party.
I should have suspected that we were being tailed, but we have built a bit of rapport with these dwarves. Perhaps they will cover for us so that we can rest tonight.
Indeed. I negotiated as such. Although, and Narath will tap for Silas to message him.
Silas will nod, and you'll just hear yes in your head.
And Narath will respond. Although, you should know that they did work on behalf of the elves. Essentially, I informed them that their employers were murdered. I did not directly implicate us, but I implied I was a witness.
Some dwarves, and this is a message back to you. Some dwarves hold a deep grudge against the elves simply for existing. And depending on the relationship that's been established, I'm sure they will be grateful to know this.
No doubt. Which is why they did, which is why they are, which is likely why they are sheltering us to begin with, rather than stringing us up. But, well, yeah. I lost my train of thought, so we'll just go with that.
Silas will respond, and he'll say, "Perhaps this is an opportunity for us to gain allies in this endeavor, or, if anything, a place for us to operate in the meantime."
They are no friends to the Inquisition, that is for sure. And the elves were begrudging allies. I am not a man of insignificant means. If worse comes to worse, I think we can simply bribe our way to safety.
As you are having this conversation, you'll notice the other patrons start to leave the bar after being spoken to by the barkeep. He'll even signal towards the performer, Arame, who promptly finishes her song and then, with grace, steps off the table onto a stool and hops down to the ground and begins moving towards a stairway in the far side of the building, where she disappears from sight.
Does any of this seem suspicious, considering that Narath just told him sensitive information?
It certainly seems to be a concerted move on behalf of the barkeep and the dwarves, though one more grizzled-looking dwarf still sits at the far end of the bar, and the barkeep has not spoken to him.
Probably just clearing the area so we can get shuffled into the basement.
Yeah, that was my guess. He wants there to be as few witnesses as possible, probably.
Only trusted men, top men.
Silas will take a quick glance at the remaining patrons on the other side of the bar, at the tables. Do any of them look armed?
A few of them are clad in more conventional, like, street gear, where it's just, your basic garb. Though they all seem to have at least a few pouches where weapons could be concealed. One of them is actually wearing like a guard's armor, but seems to be perhaps off duty, as their helmet is discarded next to in the chair next to them.
Silas will look back to Narath. He will message him again, and he'll say,
Oh no. Sorry. I just recognized some of those dwarves.
"Things seem to be changing in here. Tell me, do you think I should try to reason with the barkeep a bit, or let it sit?
Let it sit. These are probably his thugs. This is mentally replying. We did pay for the service after all.
That's fair. I also bought them around, so if anything, perhaps they'll honor a drink.
Either we're gonna get shanked in the. I don't think we're gonna get shanked. It depends on whether they recognize the knoll, but you know.
You didn't
did.
you didn't ever insight check that guy, so you never know.
Well, I wasn't prompted to insight.
Yeah, that's on you, dude. Ludman is
Okay.
Ludman
I will
is
say right
absolutely
now,
babbling
going forward,
and
Marath will always incite the intentions of whoever he is speaking to.
Yeah, I wonder how many of them I find through scouting.
Yeah, that's right.
My insight's not very high, but like,
Yeah, you can try it.
if they
All right.
kill me, I just end up in hell. So
what a low stakes game you're playing.
I end up in the Black Nexus.
Ludman will at this point kind of slouch over and have his face collapse into the bar, and is sound asleep. The barkeep sighs, but continues polishing mugs.
All right, I guess we're waiting for the party then.
That's right. So Ashtorium, you're out there, sort of chumming it up, like waiting for Blink to return. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And Ro, are you heading back to the stable with the intention of recruiting Darix?
Yeah. I'm gonna go grab Darix, and I'm probably gonna tell him like it's not safe. The guards know that we're here, and that we probably shouldn't leave the egg.
Okay, let me consult what Darix left me here.
I mean, I guarantee you,
Egg
you wouldn't
is
leave the
going
egg
in the
behind.
basement
So
with us.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just checking like how he would respond. Really, Darix will be visibly on edge, clearly fighting fatigue of the last day of events, and maybe more than that. And as he sort of he will nod towards you, but he will clearly be, having misgivings about the situation that he is in. It goes unsaid that he does not like secrecy, but he makes preparations to once again like heft the wheelbarrow to push the egg towards the exit of the stable. But he will stop to ask what you intend to do with the elf, who is.
Oh, yeah. Harlot Slayer. He's gonna have to come with us. So Ro's gonna grab Harlot Slayer and essentially drape him over his shoulder and carry him back over to the tavern.
Darix will admit to having had to knock Harlot Slayer unconscious, and then begin moving the egg.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna head off then. It's back to the tavern.
The stable boy is every time you guys walk by, he's just examining the gold coin that Narath. Oh wait, no, this is a different stable boy actually. Would Narath have bribed this stable boy too? That's a good question. I think Shambler's AFK or muted. I don't know.
Mute man.
He's tipsy, man.
Tipsy man. That makes sense. He did drink a bunch of dwarven ale.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a message. Ah, Shamble man. Bribed him with 5 silver.
Okay. Well, he's just gonna every time you guys walk in or out, he's just kind of like got all silver pieces in his palm on the tips of his fingers, and he's just like looking at them instead of making eye contact.
Yeah, he's examining them in his hand and playing with them.
Yes. Yeah, like he's
Twirling
making a
between
point of
fingers.
it to like as if to say like, look at this silver. I'm not paying any attention to you guys.
The silver is so cool.
That's right. So, all right. So you guys are gonna end up doing that thing,
Right.
and Ashtorium is waiting for Blink. Blink, you are gonna need to roll me some perception checks. What exactly are you? Are you like also trying to be stealthy, or are you just kind of not caring because you're in a garb in a guise that has not been noted by them?
So he's not hiding currently, but he during his like viewing, like trying to find where they are and where they are hiding, he's also looking for other hiding spots.
Okay. All
How
right.
many perception checks should I roll? Just the one?
I'll need 3 separate ones because you're going to be scanning over the course of some time. Damn.
Well, that's a 9, a nat 1, and a 22.
Well,
At least you got good eyes on one of them. Okay. Blink, you're trying your best to keep watch for any suspicious characters, any individuals who are staying awkwardly in the same spot when they probably would be moving otherwise, anything of the sort. And in the process, while you don't immediately see anyone who is of a suspicious ilk, there is a point that immediately kind of brings your eyes to the horizon. An event where the light in the distance, the sea green glow that was eerily casting shadows across the land, suddenly turns to a blazing orange and then is snuffed out. There's no longer the same glare in the distance, and it takes a moment for your eyes to adjust, though you imagine easier than others. And during this adjustment period, you tracked the shadows of at least 10 figures moving in the direction of your general position from the south. You focused in on them from a distance, and you expect that if their destination is the tavern or the general area, they'll arrive in no more than 30 minutes by foot.
So the big light snuffed out?
Big
And I
light
saw
snuffed out. In the
10
process, you
people,
saw
10
at least
shadows.
10 people, moving forward on foot. And they'll be here in about a half an hour max.
All right. Keeping composure, he will, or attempting to, he will turn and start making his way back, still not acting like he's, a problem, because he is not currently someone they're looking for. He'll kind of, in case anyone's watching him, he'll kind of like, pat the old pockets and be like, "Oh, I forgot something," and turn around.
Aha. Okay.
And he'll start making his way back. And because the light's snuffed out, he will again try to work on Slinter and see if Slinter can respond to him in any way. Or, just trying to sense a mental presence. He's not really saying anything.
Just sort of looking for a feel.
Yeah, trying to, extend a hand or something to feel for him.
All right. Give me another Arcana check. The presence of Slinter is like thinner and more fragile than you have ever felt in your short time together. But it doesn't seem to be moving in any direction of being more fragile or more sturdy. It's currently as if it were frozen in time. And the lack of response you get, it's like somebody breathing incredibly shallowly. But they are still alive. That's the vibe you get.
Trying to focus on the, that shallow breathing feel, he will just ask a simple question and say, is there anything I can do.
Let's see. There's no response verbally, but a sudden slight surge of adrenaline fills your system, as if you were just willed to survive at any cost.
All right, so I just gotta live. This is what I'm taking that as.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't die.
I guess that's probably the fair. I'm probably the last thing tethering him to this fucking realm right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you die, you might just like fucking.
Yeah,
get
you
lost.
might just get. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
You know how the monsters are like conglomerations of souls? I bet that they just nuked all the monsters on the island, and that all the pieces of our headmates' souls were just fucking flown out.
Could be.
And so that's the last piece of them in our head.
Dude, I can't wait till like one of our characters comes to a conclusion like that, and fucking Blink in his ultimate stupidity is like, he doesn't really care about any souls, so he'll just be like, "Do you want some of mine?" As if it's like a fucking food ration. All right. Well, understanding, hearing that, he'll probably start walking a little more briskly, until he'll make his way back.
Okay. So as you make your way back, you'll see Ashtorium standing. Are you like outside the tavern, right outside, or are you where are you at, Ashtorium?
Off to next to the nearest alley, and once I see the two returning, I'd go up to them.
Okay.
Or
so
go to the door.
right. The first people that you'll see are Ro and Darix. And good one. They are like as inconspicuously as 2 7-foot tall creatures can be. They're slowly making their way towards the tavern, but they're trying to. I'm imagining at this point you guys are like staying out of the light as best you can.
Yeah, and probably, yeah, not necessarily going fast as to not draw suspicion.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. So coming to a stop with these people, seeing his friends, he's going to say a few things. Lights out. I believe the problem, Ro, that we are having with the spirits is, well, what little I got out of Slintar makes it seem that the only thing we can do to help is survive. Which may be easier said than done. My scouting has, well, when the light went out, I saw at least 10 shadows. I have no reason to believe they'll be here in anything more than 30 minutes. So I suggest if we have a hiding spot in this tavern, or a room in this tavern, we should get there now.
I agree. I think we're going to have to find some place to hide. Hopefully Nerath or Silas has figured something out by now. And I don't think we have any option stay out here or in the stables.
Wait, Ashtorium didn't tell you?
He's not. Ashtorium hasn't seen them yet.
Yeah.
Like Blink found Ro and Darix on the way back, basically. And speaking of Blink, there's going to be a chitter, if you will, a faint clicking of thieves' cant. It's not a word, but more like a call sign. And it's coming from around the bend to the south. It's a voice you recognize. The Da Sazarin handler.
Whoa.
All right,
It's
so
like
I've only
inquisitive, like it doesn't the way that it's presented, it's very obvious that it's like exploratory in nature. It's like echolocation with a bat, you know? It's like is somebody out there? Any agent out there?
Yeah.
You know, but it's like a dialect of the thieves' cant, if you will, that is specifically you and other Da Sazarin agents would have been familiar with. I think Ashtorium would hear it too, but a bit more faintly from where he's standing.
Yeah. Okay. So hearing this, I'm assuming it's kind of like to Blink, and maybe to the others, it would just kind of, other than Ash, it would just kind of be like some odd noise. But to Blink, it probably like pierces the veil a little bit for him, and he'll. It's not a very opportune time, but I think there's also a little bit of like, he'd be thankful to at least a little bit for like some fucking common human, common being that he's used to in this insane day. So
the insane day that won't end.
Yes. So he'll as he pierces this, he comes back. He'll mutter under his breath. He'll mutter under his breath a curse word, and he'll click back just the word "eyes" and thieves' cant loud enough to be heard.
Okay, Ashtorium, you hear the call and the response. Do you have your own response, or what are you thinking? You at this point, you're able to see Blink, Ro, and Darix.
I would look to Blink and wait the usual orders that would come.
Yeah, but as you're looking for Blink, maybe expecting him to answer you, he has already given you an answer, and you just see a finger on his lips.
The clicking comes back in response. It's the basically a missive for like report, like status kind of thing, like both on your goal, but all like your it's basically it's like what is the status of the objective kind of thing.
All right,
target status kind of thing,
Yeah, I click back. We'll say target deceased. Target matriarch deceased, and then he'll kind of like start moving to where he's hearing it, which I think you said was the south
of where you currently are.
Yeah, he'll start moving to where he's hearing it and say, "I'm coming to you in thieves' cant."
There's an immediate click back to say halt, and then the following clicks and clacks come quite fast. There's a demand to return to the Manor da Sazarin and to locate any other agents and bring them with you. And the way that agents is used, it's like vague, as if to encompass any accomplices you may have hired out, not just Ashtorium, who was also assigned. Like, it's too vague a word, too broad a word to just be assassins, right? And so the clicking and the clacking continues and says that you must return by the next sunrise.
That's not a lot of time.
Or not the next sunrise, like 2 days from now, basically. Like you have one day to return, basically.
Yes,
sort of the missive.
All right.
And it's not really, it's left open-ended as to what might come from that. Like what there's no penalty described. It's just like, this is an urgent matter kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, halting his tracks, and maybe it's like he's like, he's kind of annoyed. Again, bad situation, bad timing rather. So maybe like the sound of his boots or his shoes stopping on the stone would probably kind of create a disgusting sound to listen to for a moment. And he'll say, in thieves' cant, he'll say, many agents. I'll try to bring them all back by the morning, or back tomorrow morning, and then he'll turn to leave.
as you turn to leave, the next missive strikes quite shockingly. The clicking says, "If they will not come, kill them." And the clicking then ceases. And you hear like a very, very faint set of boots quickly leaving.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that's not good. Because Darux definitely isn't coming.
Oh, if I tell him that it's a safe spot for the egg, he might.
That is
For
true.
the
If
time
you lie
being.
hard enough, maybe
Yes, if I lie hard enough, exactly.
With enough lying,
I don't know that he has anywhere else to go. So
That is
Um,
true.
we sleep in the tavern. We go
Well, in the
visit
basement, yeah.
the mob. Maybe we finally get some explanation about who the fuck we can actually trust.
Well, maybe the
And
mob
then,
is nice and smuggles us out. That'd be pretty good.
Well, we just need to get the egg into the hands of the whites, and then we can.
Well,
go
yes,
on
but we
total
need to get
elf
out of
chat.
Inolance.
I will-
We are
I
gonna
will
fucking die if we
go-
stay
yes,
here.
correct. All right,
I
so
will go-
I'm
go
assuming
after
that probably
mob.
took with thieves can't can take a while to communicate sometimes or whatnot. So I'd say that probably take a couple minutes at least. And Blink has had enough of today. Just flat out, especially when people chasing them. So he'll return back swiftly and say, "Yes, sorry about that, Ro. Communication with handlers. We can talk about this later. Again, Ash, please tell me there is a room inside waiting for us where we can just fall asleep."
They have procured a safe room for us. I
That
don't know
sounds
any other
wonderful.
details.
Surely Narath and Silas will know more. Suppose I must go inside then. Let us hope that none of the dwarves recognize me or Darux.
Hide your fucking face.
Yeah,
Talk.
yeah, because a giant furry dog man hiding my face is gonna be
They are
enough.
racists. You all.
So
look
so
the same.
you said that that last part out loud. Hopefully they don't recognize you.
Yes.
All right. With an idea, Blink now Sam, who's been spotted once, is going to say, maybe I can take some heat off of you two. Perhaps I bring the Harlot Slayer.
Ah. They might pay attention more to an elf than anything else.
Yes, I will. I'll carry him in, and while I imagine I will still get many unwanted questions, perhaps you two can slip by.
So I'll hand the elf to Blink then.
It's going to be a bit of a heavy carry, but you can manage it.
Yeah, Sam's like probably 6'6'1", so you can probably handle it. A little bit.
It's just going to be.
A little bit
It'll
better
be
than-
wearing on the
Yes,
old
yeah,
arms, but that's
for
all
sure.
right.
Yeah.
People are pretty strong in this age. A lot of arm work, a lot of manual labor.
Yeah.
All right, so the four of you are now approaching the tavern. Is that it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So while you guys are doing that, Narath and Silas, Three Crow and Shambler, you will all have an opportunity to make any final thoughts or preparations, or you can just say that you're going to wait it out until they return. What are you thinking?
Narath will motion to Ludnim and say to the barkeep once he wants them to get closer.
Okay.
When the barkeep gets closer after being motioned to, he'll say, "This one is very drunk and may speak about people that never came here. Perhaps he should go to a room." And he puts a couple silver on the table.
The barkeep is pretty quick to snatch the silver and then says, "You didn't even need to pay me if you were going to take him off my hands."
Narath will say, Just means it'll be extra speedy, yes?
We'll see when they come back. Safe room is being prepared. And with that, he moves to reignite the stove oven that he's got going on there. It bursts into a brilliant flame and begins to warm the place. And then he looks over towards you all and, Silas and Narath. And as he steps a bit closer, he says, "The drow hate lights."
Narath smiles with a very wicked smile.
Other than that, or is there any plans for you two to have conversation or planning or anything before the rest of the troop comes barging in?
I think Silas is all set.
All right. What about you, Narath? Anything?
No, Narath is just waiting.
Okay. With that,
He finished his mugs.
that's right. With that, and Silas being a bit tipsy, the four are ready to enter. What do you think?
I would like to say, holy shit. He
Silas
so
is also
drunk.
tipsy.
You are
That's a 3.
It's
That's
a nat one, dude.
That's what that is. Yeah,
Dude,
you are
Silas,
falling.
my
You are
man.
falling down the stairs.
You might have had a bit more ale than you needed.
So Blink's gonna look to Astorium to open the door, but before either like that happened, I would say that he would have pulled the hood over the elf's face, just trying to keep the knife ears out of sight.
Yeah. Sounds good. You want to do a sleight of hand check for me?
Don't be shit. Don't be shit. Don't be shit. Don't be shit.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
just your drunk human lover.
Okay.
That's a lot of roll.
Oh, wait. Okay.
What?
Even more. For
Yeah.
all the dwarves.
Yeah, I forgot about the other two.
Silas and Wrath have to roll. No. Who
You
the hell
guys
is
will
this guy?
recognize them. All right. What else is so Astorium opens the door and then
I don't recognize him. I'm too drunk.
yeah, that's true. You guys are drunk.
You guys are both too drunk to recognize him.
I like the idea that in the background of this very tense negotiation for the future of all of you, you fucking drink. And too much.
I like the idea that next session, if nobody follows me, me and Astorium are gonna have to kill them all.
I like the idea that we're gonna have to play like we're hungover tomorrow.
Yeah.
So Ro like hesitates slightly before walking in.
Nice.
And he's like looking around like very, very like I don't know if I'm supposed to be here.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Darix, for once, Darix is the one to say, "What are you doing?"
Sensing the
Just act natural.
sensing the tension, Sam is just gonna he's gonna whisper, "Guys, heads down."
Okay.
And then as they come barging in, he's gonna
Darix is grumbling as he complies.
He's as they come barging in, he's gonna say, "Friends, Silas, Narath, please show us to our room. Our friend here seemed to take an early night."
Getting up
All of the dwarves and half-smiths are immediately looking towards you all, with the exception of the guy at the far end.
Close the door behind you.
Yeah, Darks.
Yeah, Darix.
That's right.
Narath will walk over to the barkeep. He'll say, "That is all of them." They brought the egg, right?
Yeah, in a wheelbarrow. The barkeep gives you a nod and then begins to move to talk to one of the other dwarves that previously was at the bar and you saw disappear earlier. the patrons at the tables are certainly interested in the new patrons of the establishment.
Actually, Ro would like to make a perception check and just look around because it's his first time he's been in this room.
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay.
Dude, if he not ones, imagine it's like you look around too fast and you actually reveal yourself.
Yeah, your hood
And your
comes down.
hood pops off, yeah.
All right, Ro. From your current vantage point, at least 2 of the dwarves to the north of you in those tables are dwarves or half-smiths that you have spotted from the Arkman and Sons establishment.
Yeah, I recognize them. One of them, I'm pretty sure I dropped in a hole, and the other one was chasing me around all night.
Yeah, maybe the one you dropped in the hole has some visible scarring recently, you know?
Yeah.
Wood splinters
I
or
would
something?
no idea how that would happen.
Yeah, that's crazy. Silas,
So he's going
how are you
to-
handling this, by the way? Are you joining the rest of the party while Ro tells me what's up, or are you sitting at the bar still?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Silas will nudge Ludman, and he will say, "Time for bed, eh, friend?" And then he'll get up from his seat, regardless of whether or not he replies.
Yeah, he replies with a snore.
Very
Alright.
awake man.
So, Ro, what's your reaction to recognizing 2 of them?
So he's going to try not to react to too much and mostly turn around to face towards Narath and Silas. So that they hopefully do not recognize him.
I'm sure
Narath will
Alexander
say
wishes he was
on it.
here for this role.
Yeah.
That's
So
almost.
he has no
a
idea who they are.
He doesn't immediately
Narath
recognize
will say
anything.
in Draconic. I know you two had run-ins with this lot, but we have killed their employers. So they are open to bribery. Just keep your heads down and do not speak.
Ro will nod.
Safe room.
Yeah, Narath said it in Draconic, so it's not even.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not. as
he's
much-
more like he's tard wrangling Darax.
Okay, I see.
He trusts Ro to not be retarded.
Hmm.
Yeah, Ro usually doesn't want to get killed, so you know.
All right, so the barkeep motions you all forward, and specifically eyes Narath and says, "Your rooms are ready, sirs. And hey, don't forget that one." And he gestures towards Ludman.
Picks him up with one arm.
Okay, you're dragging him.
I'm
dragging.
dragging him. No, I picked
He's
him up
unconscious.
like just,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm carrying him like a suitcase.
Okay, perfect.
Very silly.
All right, as you all end up approaching the entrance, the performer, Arame, at least known by that name by Narath, is like walking up the stairs from the cellar, and she gives you all she's got like a concerned look, but more like for your welfare than anything, not like suspicious or anything. And she gives you all like a polite nod and says, "I did my best," and steps aside to allow you through.
Find a bunch of Conan bodies in there. This is where we keep the live ones. And we go in.
This was the singer.
Don't do that.
I didn't know there's another door outside.
Opens the door and there are 10 guards. immediately.
Narath, go down the stairs.
Oh,
you
shit.
know.
He should put the witness there.
Yeah,
Oh, it's locked now.
yeah, because I know you.
I know you. Ah,
Wait, what?
My
No.
love. Come back. My sweet girl.
All right. Well, Silas, you're all the way back there, but it looks like the crew is getting ready to head out down to
Head in.
head into the cellar.
Abominations are peeking through.
Yeah. As
I love how you can see it through the closed door too.
as Sam, yeah, that
It's
was a
big,
good bit.
dude.
Yeah, as Sam passes by the no-named entertainer, he's just gonna give her like a half smile and kind of look back at the idiot he's carrying, and give her a chuckle and just say, I think your singing was so good that it got me a good deal with that trader. So, good job, I guess. And he'll just go downstairs.
She gives you a slightly confused look, but doesn't respond verbally.
Silas will take a quick look back to the barkeep and he'll say, I don't believe I caught your name.
The barkeep will step forward and say, just call me Cadorino.
Does Silas know a dwarven salute?
There, you stick your arm up at a 90-degree angle.
No, that's the Roman salute.
Wouldn't a 90-degree angle just be straight up and down?
It would be a right angle, so
90-degree would be straight in front of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just straightforward.
It's not really
That's just a zombie salute.
That's right.
Which I guess with all the undead we faced.
Well,
It's-
you do.
it's
I would
their
say,
version
Silas,
of
the most
knowledge,
like you've seen is like raising a mug, and there is like an empty one nearby, but I don't know if it would carry the same weight.
Yeah, if you're not drinking out of it, then it doesn't mean.
With
Put
my
your arm to your chest and do a sailor sign.
with my proficiency in history, could I try to remember?
Yeah, if you want to give me a history check. You remember like vague hand movements in the shape of a sailor sign that might hit home with the dwarves, but you're not quite sure what the exact movements would be, so the best you could do is an approximation.
Well, in which case, Silas will say, will you teach me your salute?
Man will give you like a half-cocked sort of stare, and he will slowly and deliberately reach one hand up to his chest on the side where his heart would be, right? On his left side of his chest. And he quickly flashes, extending 3 fingers out, and then pulling all of his fingers into a fist, and then kind of just like lets his arm fall down, but his palm extends all the way, as if he were scattering ashes.
Silas will do his best to mimic what he has been shown, and he will say, Caterino, you're a good man. We trust you with everything we've shared tonight, and we hope only for the best for us and for our efforts against the elves.
Performance check.
I do like a good performance check because we get that so rarely. But we'll see. Let's say it's only going to be cumulative. It's not going to be determinative. Do you know what I mean, 3 Crow? It'll be the sweetener. Ah, it's mid.
Hey, at least it was average.
You're midding just so hard today.
Well, I started the session with a 19 and a nat 20, so
Yeah, he
Yeah,
got all those
true.
epic rolls out, and I don't know if he's had any bad ones. I guess Darix took the most recent bad one. And before
Yeah.
that, it was Blink. And the stealth check from Ro. So there's that.
Yep.
All right. So we'll say that Caterino is gives you like a nod out of like a respectful, like almost solemn nod, and he says, We'll do what we can. And he leaves it at that. A bit grim, but...
That's the most a good man can ask for. Thank you.
He turns to continue his business, polishing drained mugs.
Silas will leave him to his business.
I feel like it should be possible to attach a token to another token, so that way I can just let Narath drag Ludman around.
Yeah.
Would have come in handy dragging the elf around in the manor as well. I'll have to think about that.
Wait, you can't do it like the way you do my hawk?
Well, no, you just move that token yourself because you have ownership of it. But I don't want to give
Basement with a 4x4.
Narath ownership over the dwarf, yeah. Makes
I
sense.
see.
Yeah, that Narath would be able to open Ludman's inventory and see his skills and stuff, and I don't really want to do that for every.
Oh yeah.
Well, you could
He's a level 20 mage.
Yeah.
you could make a copy of his token with the same art and just have nothing attached to it.
Yeah, that would probably have to be how it is done. All right. So, Darix is tenderly like moving the wheelbarrow with the egg in it, and he stops at the foot of the stairs and he says, "A little help, please." Not gesturing only to Ro, but also to any other able-bodied man that might help lift the wheelbarrow.
Yeah, so Ro's gonna say, "Of course, I'll help you with the wheelbarrow." Yes. But then he's gonna turn to the woman and say to her, "We appreciate your help and hope that we don't cause too much trouble for you." And then he's gonna help the Darix kind of lift the wheelbarrow so that they can actually carry it down the stairs. Having a problem.
Okay. She gives you a startled look as she realizes just how tall you are up close and personal, and she says, "Yes, no trouble. I plead of you."
Well, I hope that's what comes to pass.
She takes a step back and gives you more room to work. All right, so we'll go ahead and say that the group of you are able to get the wheelbarrow down the stairs fairly safe, and that's probably where we can close things out for this session.
Makes sense.
Can I actually so assuming we have like a tiny bit of downtime as we get to the bottom of the stairs, can I just ask Gelter a quick question, like where it's just me and Astorian? Not that will be very private because Gelter's the loudest motherfucker on earth.
You can give it a shot.
I would like to show him the random dwarven rod that I took from that guy and be like, "Say, Gelter, what would this be?"
Yeah. So does Ashtorium also look at the rod to give Gelter the best view?
Yes.
Gelter will exclaim rather loudly, and he'll just say, "Oh, what have you got the firing pin to a pistol for?"
Yo, they have guns?
And that's for the end of the session.
Damn straight it is. I can't wait to have a gun.
Dude, Hitman. Literally.
I know. That's so base. I can't believe I have to go back upstairs and start pickpocketing other dwarves for the other pieces
For the
to
rest
a gun.
of the fucking piece. Well, the
They all
better question is
disassembled
probably
one
why does
pistol.
Ludman have a disassembled pistol? But, he's a drunk, so he probably forgot the rest of it.
Are the rest of the pieces on him?
You don't know that. You'll have
You'll have to find out next session.
Yeah, that's the end of the
Dude, while he's drunk and asleep, everyone's gonna be like, "Man, I'm really worried about these 10 guards that are gonna show up." And they just turn to Blink. How do you feel? And he's just like patting down. He's like, Blink, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He's going rifling through his pockets.
Yeah, exactly.
Rifling, get it?
Yeah, for the
Pistol?
rifle.
I think it's a little too early for rifled barrels, but that's okay. Oh. All right. Thoughts and opinions. How did we do?
With the time that we had, which was not a lot, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But we had farther than I was expecting for sure.
You have to stream you just talking to yourself, but it's the Inquisitor inquiring about the enemies of the state under the floorboards of the dwarf.
I think it was.
I appreciate that you guys are now in the cellar. We really can reenact that scene from Inglourious Basterds. It's kind of fun.
I think Three Crow was the one who shot the idea of having a short session tomorrow, since we had the short session it today. And I'm fine with whatever if we do that, but I understand that people have their own
I think
stuff to do, obviously.
Alexander said that he didn't like the idea, but
I think Alexander
I
said that
about it.
because he can't do the. I forget what he's like. He's got to do church service and then he's got work and stuff. So I don't even know if he can.
He said we can also move it to tomorrow too. I don't mind that myself.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get out of tonight, but I don't know what the details are. Well, I think since we got to talk scheduling anyway, we'll close the stream down. But yeah, GG.
Thanks for watching.